need to separate you two. Well, good evening, guys. You guys pestered me enough this week that we decided to play a week early.
Yay!
Woo!
It's Thursday. How you guys' week been?
Amazing.
It's not Friday yet. Let's not
Peachy.
celebrate.
Better now, though.
But it's Thirsty Thursday.
Hey. Since you reminded me that the draft was tonight, I had to go ahead and grab my St. Louis Rams cup. That's correct. The St. Louis Rams, not that LA bullshit.
Mhm.
That is correct.
My boys got who I wanted.
That's unfortunate.
What are we doing here, Matt?
Trey
We're
Lance.
What are we here for?
yeah, guys. What are we doing here? So,
Wow.
so yeah,
Are
guys,
we-
welcome. This is Friday Night Dice, and welcome to our new campaign here. This is our new going to be rotating. Most nights we're going to play Thursday nights, but we're going to be rotating between Thursday and Tuesday nights to kind of work around people's schedules. I'm happy to have these 5 individuals here with me. For those of you that are part of other campaigns, I just want to give you guys a quick shout out. You guys are all awesome. I love all of you in the other games that we play, and I don't want you to feel like you were left out because I didn't invite you to this campaign. I simply chose these 5 for a very specific, very story-heavy campaign, and these 5 in the way they roleplay have shown me in the past that I think that they will mesh well together. And I think that you guys will find that as well, as I have seen over the past few weeks as we've done a little off-stream play. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's game. Oh, wait. If you guys haven't, you should definitely be following and check out our Monday night campaign and our Friday night campaign. We play every Monday that starts at 8:15 and every other Friday that starts at 8:15. The Friday night campaign, which is the founder campaign, if you will, is quickly coming to the end of their first arc, and some things in these next few episodes are going to start to come to light that I think will really start to set the tone for the rest of the campaign for them. I highly recommend you guys check it out, and all of those videos from the past are uploaded on YouTube that you can catch up and kind of catch those. As well as our Monday night campaign is just had one of, if not the end of their first arc, with a very climactic and sad ending. We won't give any spoilers, but I highly suggest you guys go check it out. So yeah, before we jump into tonight's game, let's go ahead and just give everybody quick introductions so everybody knows who everyone is. Aiden, you want to take us away, since clearly nobody knows who you are?
Sure, yeah. I'm pretty much a part of almost everything Friday Night Dice does, much to Matt's delight and my chagrin. I am Aiden. I also go on the Discord and everything else. We have a Discord. You should check it out. By Suboxic. I play Kelric in the Friday night campaign. I'm also a DM myself. Yeah, you've seen me before, and if you haven't seen me because you're joining us for this campaign, welcome to the channel.
All right, Emma, you want to go ahead and take us away?
Where am I taking us?
Introduce yourself.
Away.
I'm Emma. I play Rue, also called Jade, in our Monday night campaign. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Zach?
I'm Zach. I go by, I guess, Doc Nut on most things internet related. I played Genera in the small campaign Matt was lucky enough, or I was fortunate enough to be in. I play a druid in Aiden's game, and I run my own game as well, so I have been around.
All right, Liz?
My name's Alyssa. I have also been in the short campaign that Matt just ran. Not much else about me.
All right, finally,
Well, then
Avery.
you're awesome.
Happy to be here.
I am Avery. I played Tybix up until very recently in the Monday night campaign. I also run a campaign that Emma over there is in, and I like dice and stuff.
Easy enough, short and sweet and to the point, guys. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into
Introduce
tonight's...
yourself, Matt. Give yourself
I
some
don't
credit.
need an introduction.
Do it.
I'm a part of everything.
Oh wow, that just went from humble to arrogant real
Oh
fast.
no, I'm joking, guys. My name is Matt. If you are new to the channel, I am the dungeon master here at Friday Night Dice. Very rarely in special occasions you'll see me be a player when I kind of let some of my friends and fellow members of Friday Night Dice take over and run one shots. Every so often for holidays or special occasions, we like to run one shots. So in the future, I hope to see some of these guys run some for me, so I can get to be on the opposite side of the table for once. It's a lot of fun sometimes, but my bread and butter is being a DM. That's where I enjoy most of the game. Maybe it's a control thing. I don't know. That's what my wife would say. But you know, guys, if you're here and you're new, I'm glad to have you here. Welcome. I poured my heart and soul into this world, and I love it so much that I'm addicted to it. And I run 3 campaigns now. Yeah, I know it's a little crazy. Can be a little hectic at times, but I love it. And let's go ahead and get into tonight's game because I'm excited for this.
Hell yes.
Here we go.
I love this. I love the plug, man. That was fresh.
So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the known world of Tilstaria. A massive world, most of which has been left unexplored. A world known to be made up of 3 major continents. The northernmost of the 3 continents is called Cranvoxia, which itself is made up of 3 major nations. The first of these nations, the Andala Republic, covers most of the northern reaches of the continent of Granvoxia, stretching from coast to coast. The Andala Republic is comprised of a collection of city-states that have appealed to and welcomed all manners of different sentient races. Cultural and religious freedom, as well as free trade, have all been cultivated through the years, producing a number of large, diverse cities that thrive as an individual city-state. The capital of the Andala Republic, the city Zakarat, it being the largest city in Tilstaria, a massive feat of science and ingenuity in its own right. One of many such wonders you'll find as you cross through the Andala Republic. In the central lands of Granvoxia, past the rolling plains of the Kohara highlands, and through the low-lying areas of the Yultera wetlands, lie the Deshaya wastelands. The wastelands, a massive desert that was once the site of a battle between gods, from a far past time known as the Great Tribulation. The battle left the land torn and sundered, with residual fallout forever tainting the land. Not much is known about the world before the Great Tribulation, but for those foolhardy enough to go looking, many long-hidden secrets still lie in await in Deshaya. In the southern reaches of Granvoxia, south of the Antinui Range, we find the second nation, the Zartalas Empire. Zartalas has thrived for hundreds of years on the back of a strong trade and abundance of a mysterious substance known as Aether. Aether, the physical manifestation of magical energies, and the control of a large quantity found in Zartalas have granted the Empire significant influence in a greater political sphere of Tilstaria. Following the Antinui Range to the southeastern corner of Granvoxia, we come to the third nation, the Brawlhalla Concord. The Concord is a grand and esteemed nation, which takes great pride in its peaceful disposition. The citizens of the Concord value knowledge over power, and as a testament to this, they constructed one of the greatest wonders in Tilstaria, the Tranquil Athenaeum. This massive library is the brightest gem in the jeweled city of Brawlhalla and beyond. It holds more written knowledge than any other place in the known world. To the southwest of Granvoxia lay the Velhair territories, a collection of nations that have united under the banner of the Frozen Throne and its known snow elf queen, Zelyria Coldwind. Casting her ferocious gaze across all of Velhera, she brought even the most stubborn of foes to heel, forming the disparate nations into a single, powerful force. She is feared and loved by all of Velhera inhabitants, and it is reflected through the Queen's fierce disposition. Located in the oceans between Granvoxia and Velhera lay the Shadow Isles. These peculiar islands are afflicted by a strange phenomenon of nature, which has left the islands cloaked in shadow and cloud for hundreds of years. The area is well known as a haven for pirates. Its dark cloud covers the ever-changing currents, providing ample cover for the many sea rogues. Any wise captain knows better to travel through the Shadow Isles, and so it is only fools and the unwary that dare travel there. Far to the east, well past the Brawlhalla Concord and across the Broken Sea, lies the third continent, the strange and uncharted continent of Edom. Not much is known about Edom, except the great distance has proven a significant hindrance to its exploration, and to this day even the greatest scholars can but shrug at what wonders might lie. In the present day, the year is 1129 PT, and for those of you new to this, or for those of you that are a part of this channel, that is roughly 6 years before current campaigns. The world is still in recovery from the Second Aether War and a brutal conflict that broke out between the Zartlas Empire and the Velhera territories. But for the most part, the world is at peace, and the uneasy truce between the two former enemies seems like it's at hold. Our story begins in the port city of Midpar, a southern coastal town of the Zartlas Empire. There, we find 5 humble individuals, adventurers of sorts, preparing for a journey aboard a once mighty vessel known as the Siren's Whale. These 5 have enlisted aboard the ship at the behest of a mysterious benefactor, an elven woman they've come to know as Nagarathu. They have been offered significant sums of coin by Nagarathu and other promises on completion of their journey. And these 5 have agreed for one reason or another to join the crew of the Siren's Whale for a mysterious expedition to the Jotunheim Isles. We begin in the early morning hours. The sun is beginning to crest above the horizon, its orange and yellow hues dancing across the waves. A stiff salt breeze blows through the docks onto the deck of the Siren's Whale, where we see a young human man and 2 dwarves down on their knees scrubbing the deck. And Aiden, would you like to describe your character?
Yeah. So when you lay your eyes upon him, he's a bronze-skinned human. It's difficult to tell if it's innate color or tanning from and weathering from an outdoor life. Currently scrubbing next to 2 dwarves. Notable features would be his vest, essentially sleeveless vest, and his long pants that all come together in various pieces of dark leathers and tanned hides. He's got this almost fiery red hair that's up in a half bun, construed of hundreds of different small braids, and it kind of descends to just past his shoulders. And when you see him, you'll see that his kit is mostly constructed of a travel pack and a blade that is almost singularly curved on one side, and a bow strung over. Currently, I imagine that gear is kind of stashed nearby.
Easy enough. As you guys begin to continue to scrub the deck with the 2 dwarves next to you, those you have come to know as Stradmule and Thadmule, 2 dwarven brothers of a dark complexion and a thick black beard, one a little balding and the other a little bit shorter than the other. They are the shipwrights, and you've come to know them in the past day or so that you've been here a little well. They've kind of taken you under their wing and shown you the ropes of how to care and take care of the ship. As we look down across the ship, looking across the beautifully scrubbed deck, we go to the helm of the ship, where we can see a lizard folk man, a human woman, and the captain poring over a massive map. Zach, would you like to describe your character?
Oh, I think I would. You'd see at the helm a massive mountain of lizard folk, stand about 7'8", probably bordering on 450-ish pounds, give or take the day, and the amount of ale I've consumed. I'm in kind of beat up, just kind of sailing attire, nothing fancy, no armor, and there would be an absolutely gargantuan great axe strapped across my back.
Very nice. Standing next to him, you guys can see what appears to be a large Goliath man, one that you've come to know as Captain Breger. He has a dark complexion with a large pirate's hat, if you will, adorned upon his head. The long black, almost velvet overcoat that kind of flows to the ground with no shirt underneath. You can see these dark, tribal-like tattoos dancing across his body, and across his belt you can see all manner of contraptions. A wooden hilt, what appears to be some sort of firearm, a spyglass, and other various knickknacks and things. Standing next to him, the human woman, you can see what you guys have come to know as his first mate, a woman known as Ezra. A small human woman that has kind of short blonde hair that's been kind of matted down and kind of flattened. She'd wear his well-made leather clothes and kind of a bit of a sailor's attire, much like Zach's, but a little bit finer. But then the one thing that catches all of your guys' eyes, and the one thing that's drawn all of you in, is her eyes. Her eyes are in ever-changing shades of green, purple, and blue, ever shifting and changing, swirling, almost mesmerizing. As you guys are sitting there, the captain yells out, "Crew, why don't we all come on deck? We can all introduce each other and get to know ourselves before we make way on ship." Not a few moments later, we see a young tiefling man come up from below deck, carrying what appears to be some few boxes in which the captain had already directed him to bring aboard. Avery, would you like to describe your character?
I would love to. You see a roughly 6 foot tall, sort of an ashy purple skinned tiefling with sort of a light sweat across his incredibly attractive body. If a body could be more attractive, you probably haven't seen it. It's a body designed specifically to look amazingly. You can tell. He has two small black horns, goat horns that curl in sort of a singular rotation. He's got black hair knotted back behind his head in a ponytail. He's wearing simple leather pants that hug tight, just kind of show off the muscles, as well as sort of thin boots that look attractive. He also has two wings, black feathered wings that are relatively small, that are bound with leather strips behind his back. The two sort of, I guess, bones of the wings bound with leather belts, so to speak. And he always manages to have just the perfect lock of hair just across the forehead.
Very nice. He looks over. "Ah, the Cannon Master has arrived. Good to see you. Are the others following behind?"
I believe they are. I didn't check, though.
Not much long after, we see a young woman dressed in humble clothes. A little bit... Well, I'll let you describe it. Emma, would you like to describe your character?
I have bluish gray skin with white hair and really like aqua blue eyes with glowing aqua dragon tattoos swirled all over my body and my neck and a little bit on my face.
Very nice. As she comes up
She's
on deck...
really muscly.
You come up on deck
Attractive.
and join the others, and not a moment later, you are followed by a woman who comes out with her cloak pulled over her head. Melissa, would you like to describe your character?
Yeah, so what you see is kind of a fairly small, from what you can see from under the cloak, very skin to bone, almost starving looking woman, about 5'7". Her cloak almost seems to like extend a little bit further over her head though, just kind of looking at the ground and shuffling towards you all shyly.
The captain looks across the deck. Well, it looks like everybody's here. We have our cook motioning towards your character, Lissa. We have our, well, we'll call her our bodyguard motioning towards your character, Emma. We have our cannon master motioning towards your character, Avery. We have our navigator. He motions to the giant lizard man standing next to him. And we have our three shipwrights motioning towards the two dwarves and the human man's at the end of the ship. You've all come for your own reasons to join us on this expedition, this journey. One thing I'd like to say is thank you to all of you, and I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. This is Ezra. You've all come to know her in many different fashions, and some in less lightly ways than others, but nevertheless, she is my first mate, and I expect you to treat her with the utmost respect, as you would myself. As he looks down over the deck at the lot of you, says, "Well, our benefactor has one word she'd like to say." And you watch as the elven woman that you guys have all seen glimpses of, but haven't had much time to talk to, kind of steps out of the shadows from the back of the helm of the boat here, and kind of looks down across the deck at all of you. "Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me on this expedition. I am Nagarathu, and I am the person who hired all of you. I'm the person that will be paying your rewards and your fees when we should return, and for some of you, as we agreed upon before, your journeys into other reaches of the world. But First, we must complete our mission. We are searching for something upon the island. Something that is of great value to me. I wish to keep as much information to myself as possible, but you'll know it when you see it, and we will talk more once we arrive safely. And she motions over to you, Zach, the navigator. Assuming this man can get us through the reef and jagged rocks that surround the island, we will arrive, and as we dock on shore, more information shall be shared. So, you guys go ahead, kind of start to gather your things, and the captain looks over. Well, we should all head off and make our way. Stradmule, Thadmule, untie the dock. Two dwarven men kind of run over. God. Swallowed a bit of water there. And make their way to start untying the two ropes that are kind of binding the dock. As they do, you guys watch as they untie and the dock, the siren's wail begins to pull away from shore. And you guys begin your journey toward the Isles of Yildenham. You guys spend about an hour out on the open sea before the captain comes over to you. Zach. Well, Kothar, you said you could get us across this sea. Let's see how well you can do. Chart our course.
I'll do my best, Captain. And I will attempt to chart a course using the map and my proficiency in water vehicles.
Very easy enough. Roll a survival check for me.
That's a natural 20.
First roll of the campaign.
+4 for 24.
Nice.
Wow.
Almost like nothing has ever changed. You begin to chart the course towards the Yildenham Isles, much like you've done in the past, and you start to make your way, or start to direct the boat towards the southern reaches, kind of following the ever-shifting ways of the ocean. Knowing your way here, and knowing which paths to take through the ocean, you have significantly lowered your journey. As you guys continue onto the open waters, I need somebody to roll a d20 for me.
May I?
Someone.
Go for it.
All right. That is a 16.
A 16. Okay. As you look off into the distance, you can see dark clouds starting to roll in. It seems as if your journey is not going to go as easy as you'd hope it would. The clouds are thick and black. You watch as these dark clouds begin to roll in, and in that instant you hear it. The sound of thunder. As a storm is quickly rolling in, the low rolling sounds of the wind begin to take over as you guys start to helm your way. The captain runs over to the side of the deck. Men, to your stations. We're going to have a bumpy ride.
DM, I'm going to take the excess rope that's strewn about the ship and begin tying things down and battening down the hatches.
Easy enough.
Along with Stradmule and Thadmule.
Yes, go ahead and make a survival check for me.
Yeah. That's cocked. Ooh. 19 plus 4, 23.
Very nice. Easy enough. You, with the help of Stradmule and Thadmule, begin running across the deck. You begin throwing bits of rope and nets over various things that could go overboard as the waters begin to get choppy and rough. You can feel the boat begin to sway back and forth. And for you, someone who hasn't spent very much time on the sea, this is a rough ride for you. You can start to get a little uneasy as the waters begin to kind of throw you to the sides and back and to and fro. And then you see it. Another strike of lightning. As you all look, as a flash of light comes, and it has struck the mast. The mast has caught ablaze. What are you guys doing?
Oh, fuck. Do we have firefighting capabilities on this boat?
Thane knows so little about boats. But it's raining, right?
It is
So
raining
it's
and the
fine?
fire is spreading.
And it's still spreading. Thane will try to climb the mast and see if he can sort of, is it the cloth itself or is it the mast
It's the
itself?
mast, the very top of the mast, where they're kind of near, just above where the crow's nest is.
Thane will climb and he will try to, I don't know, I'll try and find an axe and climb it, and then cut the top of the mast off to stop the fire from spreading.
Okay. You quickly search around and you find a small hand axe on the side of Stradmule's belt. You grab it and quickly climb your way up the mast. Make an acrobatics check for me.
While he does that, can I grab Thadmule and try to throw him as high up the mast as I can?
Sure, make a
With
strength
the
check
bout.
for me.
Fastball special.
Fastball special, baby.
16
No.
on that acrobatics check.
Do you throw Thadmule off the boat?
Oh no!
Oh.
You go to pick him up, and the stout dwarven man weighs too much. Even with your immense strength, you get him a foot off the ground, and you're like, yeah, he's not going nowhere. Set him back down. But you watch as Thane very quickly scales up the side of this mast, and with a hand axe inside that he just stolen, runs up and begins to almost chop out a clean hit from where the lightning has struck. And you watch as the fires fall to the deck below, where the two dwarven men quickly run over and grab it and throw it overboard before the fire can spread to the deck. You guys continue, and the waves begin to get larger. The winds begin to get louder, and quickly the captain yells out, "Pull down the mast! We need to protect it. The winds will start to pull us off course."
I just want to make note that when I came down, I did like a backflip off the mast.
Okay.
I will, I want to take a second amidst all this chaos and just like take a second and meditate for like a half a second, and just the air seems to move different around me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll levitate up to help fix the mast and bring it down.
Oh, easy enough. Very nice. So you guys go ahead.
Sexy.
You get the mast tied down and bound to the ship. Not moments later, you see a massive wave heading your guys' way. One that towers nearly 10 feet over the ship. The captain yells out, "Brace yourselves!" I need everybody to make acrobatics checks for me.
DM, I
Yes.
should ask, I don't know where the kitchen is on your ship, but am I up on deck or am I down below?
That is up to you. If you would have stayed up on deck or if you would have went back.
Have we eaten? Am I preparing for us to eat?
You guys have not eaten, so you could say you went
Good
back.
question.
It's up to you. I don't care.
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
tell me.
Hey,
Okay.
it's your character. You tell me.
No, cook in the middle of a storm. A second fire.
I'll say I would have been up there just to watch us like sail away. Okay,
Okay, that's fine.
that's fine.
18 for Fane.
Got it.
8.
What was it? Sorry.
Acrobatics check.
Thank you.
12, and I have a +9.
Jeez.
Also 12.
16.
16. Last one.
Oh, sorry, 8. I thought
8.
I said.
You guys watch as the young human man, a little wary at sea, quickly falls to his knees and begins to tumble as the wave crashes into the ship towards the edge of the ship. I need somebody to make another athletics check to quickly dart over and try to save him from falling overboard.
I'll do it.
I'll go for it as well, if I
Okay.
can.
Sure. One of you, each of you roll, or one of you roll with advantage.
I got an 18.
I got a 22.
22. Easy
I'm
enough.
saved.
Between the two of you, you quickly run over, and moments before he goes toppling over the side of the ship, you grab him by his legs and quickly pull him back on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I pick him up like a baby and carry him like back onto the ship and then set him down. And cradle him a little bit.
I owe you my thanks.
You owe me nothing. Just stay on the ship.
Zach, go ahead and make perception check for me. As you are proficient in ships and have spent many a day out at sea.
Good at those. 18.
18. Easy enough. As you look up, you can catch the smell of a scent, of a fresh breeze. And as you look off into the distance, you can see a bit of an opening where bits of rays of sun have begun to break through the clouds. And you can see that the storm has begun to pass, at least in that direction.
Oh yeah, I think we should head over there, and I'll point it out to the captain and start trying to direct people to motion the ship that way.
Sure. Go ahead and make another survival check for me to try and direct Ezra to steer the ship in that direction.
Yeah, I'll work the sails while that's going on.
Easy enough. Go ahead, take advantage.
Oh, thank you. 21.
21, very nice. You're easy with Ezra's keen eyes and your instructions on how to steer the ship and navigate these choppy waters. You guys make your way out, and then in a few moments you find yourself on the calm, open waters of the broken sea, the storm seems to have passed.
That was some mighty fine sailing, I must say.
Thank you. I didn't know you could, quite climb masts with hatchets. Never quite crossed my mind. But I was quick thinking to put the fire out.
Well, for you, I wouldn't really want you to climb the mast, but if I needed it broken, you look like you could do it.
Yeah, probably.
You are strong, or are you just large?
I mean, I used to be a little stronger. Now I'm just a little larger, Years
Well,
come, they go.
Still quite ferocious, I would say.
We'll have to see. I haven't, been involved in any scraps in a while. So,
Maybe soon.
let's hope not.
Is anything lost off the deck, DM?
Make a perception check.
Yeah. Plus wisdom. 16.
Looking around with the quick thinking of you and Stradmu and Thadmuel to kind of batten down the hatches, doesn't appear as if anything was lost over deck. Maybe a few of the cannons have been pushed to the side, but because of their massive weight, they never really fell off the deck, but they have been moved. On the back of the ship, you can see the two ballistas that were mounted on the back of the ship have been kind of pushed ajar, but they are bolted down, so it doesn't appear as if they've fallen overboard.
I will go up to Captain Breger, and I will say, Breger, it appears that nothing has been lost during the storm. I'm happy to report.
Ah, good to know, son. I appreciate that. You're doing a good work.
And I imagine the two of them are standing near the captain.
Yes.
I will look at them and I'll say, I am Akare. I figure we should share some names after you just potentially saved my life.
It's nice to meet you, Akare. I am Thane Torok.
And I'm Kothar. Nice to meet you, Fane, Akari. I'm glad you're both here and not dead.
You did pick a very poor day to swim, though.
It wasn't exactly my intention, but I
You-
am...
Do you often accidentally swim?
No, I actually haven't swam in the ocean at all.
Are you telling me you can't swim, or you've just never tried?
Oh, I can swim, I just don't swim in the ocean. I've never been on the water.
See, Kothar, he was eager, I think is what it was.
Oh, yeah. Well, friend, maybe not, as Fane mentioned now, but, I mean, if you need some tips for swimming in the ocean, maybe we'll do that some other day.
I've never
you
tried
kinda-
to swim in water while it's storming, so that might actually be helpful.
You kind of see my character digging her hands out from one of the masts, letting go from after the storm, and I could use some tips for being on the water. My name is Kidai.
Hello, Kidai. I am Akare.
It's nice to meet you. I think Kothar is the one. I'm just the guy who carries boxes.
I mean,
That's important too.
To some.
I guess if we get some time when we get to the island, I could hold like a swim class or something for all you that want a little more experience in open water.
Do any of you happen to know who the flying one is?
My
Is
name's
she still
Samira.
up there?
No, I levitated down. I just brought the mast down. I'm just watching you. My name's Zamira.
It's nice to meet you, Zamira.
Swimming isn't nearly as stressful when you don't need to breathe, but I found it's a great exercise.
What a strange yet relevant thing to say.
Yeah.
But how do you respond to that? I just don't. Of course.
DM, can I get a time of day?
Hard to tell because you haven't spent much time out in the open water. There's no like shadows dancing off of anything to kind of tell where everything is. But looking up at the sun, it's probably about midday.
Well, I think I've spent enough time up here on the scary part of the ship. I hope you all are hungry. I can whip something up.
The captain kind
Sandwich.
of perks up. That sounds like a glorious idea. Let us all go down below and have a bite to eat.
I hope you like cheese.
You hear Stradmiel and Thadbill kind of perk up. Did somebody say cheese?
I'm good
They
at
quickly
cheese.
run below deck.
Stradmule and Thadmule mice confirmed.
Is it just cheese, or is there something more to it?
Oh, I can do more than cheese.
Oh, okay. I just want
What do you like?
to clear. Well, really, just my stomach gets upset when I eat just cheese. So I just thought maybe like a piece of bread.
Terrible
Or,
affliction.
indeed, I do enjoy it though. But maybe like a piece of meat or a vegetable or something.
I can attempt meat. I'm not very familiar. I'll try it, just for you.
How do you mean you're not familiar with meat?
It's a terrible story. I was not accustomed to eating meat where I grew up, and I've never cooked it before, but I'm sure with some guidance, I can do just.
Well, don't let me make you step out of your comfort zone. Cook what you feel is best. And I will be comfortable with it.
If for some reason you are interested in learning, I could easily teach you.
That would be
Most of my diet has been game.
enlightening. Thank you.
Do you need a hand with the cheese?
Oh, cheese I've got covered. Don't you worry.
Roger that.
Thane will walk up to Zamira and say, "You are in remarkable shape. Are you a fighter?"
No.
Okay. Well, I suppose it takes all types. Well, I guess that's the end of the compliment then. You're in remarkable shape. You're a specimen of physical appearance, I suppose.
Thank you. I'd use my body for the protection of secrets.
Oh, that sounds intriguing. What kind of secrets?
They wouldn't be secrets if I told you.
But you've already told me you have secrets.
You don't know what.
I think everybody
fair.
has secrets.
Yes, but she uses her body to guard the secrets, and I'm curious what kind of body it takes to guard the secret, if you understand my question.
Well, evidently that one.
I suppose so. All right, Samira, keep your secrets. Still, wonderful triceps. Really remarkable.
I can show you my workouts one morning. Perhaps we could work out together.
Or
I'll
perhaps
see
a
if you
sparring
can
match.
keep up.
I walk away and flex my gorgeous back muscles as I do.
Okay.
Man, it's so humble.
About 10 to 15 minutes goes by as Hidai has made her way below deck to begin preparing a meal. And you can see that the captain and the first, Nagarathu begin to gather. Well, why don't we head down and see what our chef has prepared for us? As Nagarathu motions for all of you to come and join her, Ezra will keep us on course. So,
Going down.
assume you all go.
Speaking of Ezra, how's my thing with her? Is that a
It's hard for you to tell.
okay?
She's just as mysterious from the first day you met her.
That's why it's so damn intriguing. Okay, that's all I needed to know.
You guys make your way down below deck and pass your different living quarters down to the end of the hall, where you come into a grand kitchen of sorts. You can see there is a small table, large enough for about 10 people to sit at in the center of the room, with the outskirts of the room kind of filled with various different unperishable goods, salted meats, potatoes, vegetables, various different things. And you can see Hidai is sitting over at one of the preparing stations. And would you like to tell everybody what you're making?
Yeah. So what I'm assuming is kind of like a big grand table.
Yep.
For all of us to eat. In the very, very center is like a spread of like a selection of meats and cheeses, almost like a charcuterie board type of thing, like breads chopped up fancy. I may have gone a little bit overboard. There's jams, there's jellies. I went all out. And on the pot, just about to finish, is a big, like, hearty vegetable stew. And she kind of turns around, still kind of looking at the ground, presenting the stew as you're like all sitting down. And I hope everyone's hungry. I hope this is enough.
Easy enough. You kind of set it out. You guys can see this gorgeous array of food and everything set out before you guys. Seems to be very well prepared.
Tuck in.
Yeah.
The Kidai, this is a remarkable interpretation of cheese.
Thank you.
Oh.
I grew up making goat's milk cheese. It was one of my village's specialties.
What village are you from?
I'm from Nakaway.
Nakaway, I don't think I've heard of it. Is it far from here?
A bit of a journey, yes. Lots of different people living all together in sort of a very rural, self-sustaining community.
It sounds peaceful.
It is very nice.
Damn, have I ever heard of Narcoway?
Make a history check.
Probably not. 11.
Not that you can recall. The captain looks around. Well, is everybody enjoying their meals?
Yes, I think your cook was an excellent choice.
Kind
He's
of.
magnificent.
As he gets looking around at all of you guys, he reaches behind, opens up one of the cabinets, and pulls out a beautifully, almost purplish bottle of wine with these golden leaves kind of entangling around the sides of it. Well, would anybody care for a drink? Because I know I need one, as he pops the cork.
2 for me, please.
Oh.
I've never been one to say no to a good drink.
I'd love one.
Goes
You
over
can
to...
give Fane my drink. I'm okay.
Oh, well.
I nod at Akai.
I'm not interested either.
Makes his way over to the counter, grabs a few wooden mugs that appear as if they've been whittled out, and begins to pour each of you a drink, and sets them all down and sets 2 in front of Fane.
Captain Breaker, I do have a question.
Ah, yes, my sir.
Well, I couldn't help but notice that Kothar is an excellent sailor.
Yes.
Kidai is a wonderful cook. And Zamira is apparently a wonderful bodyguard. But I'm a shit person to be a cannon master, and I can't help but wonder what you saw in me.
Well, you didn't leave me much of a choice. You did kind of just force your way onto my ship.
I was invited.
You are. I trust
Technically.
the judgment of my first mate.
I see. So it's sort of like nepotism.
Well, your manner of arrival was quite volatile. What exactly was going on?
Captain, I don't mean to interrupt, but should I take maybe a bowl or a plate up to Ezra?
No, that's okay. I will send her down after we are finished eating. She tends to like her privacy anyways.
I understand.
Thane just takes like a long drink, comes back down and says, I just saw an old friend who wasn't so happy to see me, I suppose.
Unhappy enough to throw bombs.
Well, actually, it was Ezra that threw the bomb. It was quite helpful.
I see.
Wait,
That's correct.
you're referring to the smoke, correct?
Yes.
Yes, Ezra did that to create a fuss of sorts and cover our escape.
Maybe the term cannon is metaphorical for the way you shoot your mouth off.
Oh, Lord.
You know, Zamira, I don't think I've said an unkind word to you, and I'm not sure I deserve that. Where you're from, is it customary to be rude to strangers?
No, but it is customary not to boast.
So that's just your poor personality, then. That's a descriptor you've picked up along the way.
Just making an observation.
Make fewer of them, please.
Well, let's not all get under each other's
Oh,
get each other's necks now.
I'm leaving. I'm out.
As it gets tense, I'll slide over dessert, like very nice little blackberry tarts.
I sort of like cough. and,
Zamira
like,
is
catch
not
myself.
tense at all. She's just calm as a cucumber. There's like little breeze tendrils circling around her, and she's just blissfully unbothered.
I sort of like don't make eye contact with Zamira, but just sort of like adjust myself and say, "I'm sorry, that was unbecoming. Excuse me." And I take my second drink and walk up onto the deck. Go hang out with Ezra.
The captain looks at you and he hands you a full glass. Take this to Ezra while you're up there.
I certainly will.
Seems to me like the tiefling is keen to make enemies wherever he goes.
Well, I, for one, think he's a fine young lad. A little proud, but who isn't?
He's abrasive, so I think he'll do just fine in the job you hired him for.
I think all of you are going to do fine in the jobs you've been hired for. It's what happens when we get to the island that will put all of you to the true test.
Speaking of, I should probably go adjust the sails. I think the wind has probably shifted.
That is up to you, if you would like. Distract me with that, and we look
Do
up.
we
Hey,
know
well, if you're
when
going,
we'll
we're
be
gonna eat more of
arriving?
this, more of these tarts. And the two dwarven men just kind of dig in and start shoving them into their faces.
I will
I'll start
move
cleaning up in the
to
kitchen.
adjust the sails.
Okay.
Keeping us in wind as much as possible.
I'll bring the drink to Ezra, and as I hand it to her, I'll say, "It's a lovely night."
Well, it is still day, if that is what
Oh.
you're referring to.
I'm sorry, for some reason my head went to nighttime. It's a lovely day, don't you think?
It is a calm after the storm, if one would call it.
Something beautiful about that, don't you think?
It is one of my most favored times. But the calm also comes before the storm, and the closer we draw to this island, the worse I believe this storm will get.
I just hand her the drink and drink quietly.
She downs it in one gulp.
Of
Against
course
you,
she does, that sexy beast.
Against you keep the boat back on track. You guys kind of go about your various things for an hour or two. Go ahead.
As we approach the island, can I attempt to just see if there's any like sharks or mammal or kind of like larger fish in the waters, just to try to keep my mind off the island?
Sure. Make a perception check, looking kind of over the side of the boat.
23.
23, very nice. Looking over the side of the boat, you can see arrays of colorful fish that begin to dance across the sides of the boat. You can see behind you almost dolphins and other aquatic creatures have been following the boat for a near while, and you know this as a sign of sorts that you're drawing closer to the reef, as these aquatic creatures like to live near this massive reef that kind of encompasses the Isles of Yuldenheim. And before we continue, I forgot to ask at the beginning of the session, I need everybody's passive perception.
16.
Nay.
Kinky.
Same hat.
Twins.
16
14.
for the druid and the monk.
11 for the tiefling.
Okay.
Fighter.
14 for both of us, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Easy enough. So, guys, Captain calls out, Kothar, I think we're drawing closer to the reef. This is where your expertise is going to guide us to victory. Please, point the way out.
I'll do my best, Captain. And I will, as steadily as I can, attempt to guide us through the reef.
Okay, make a survival check for me again.
How close are we to the reef?
You guys are roughly half a mile away from it.
Okay.
The island itself, you can see across the skyline, just the tips of the mountains on the other sides of these massive jagged rocks that kind of jut out from around the reef. A sight that you know all too well.
Can I roll this with disadvantage, because I would be extremely uncomfortable at this point?
Yes, you can.
10.
Got it. So you kind of start to direct Ezra in how to navigate through the reef as you guys begin to crest over almost what appears as if the ship almost sails over the top of almost a hump as the waters begin to get a little more shallow, and you begin to maneuver your way in and out of the jagged rocks in through the massive reef. You feel a as something scrapes across the side of one of the undersides of the boat. The captain looks over. I thought you knew your way through here.
Oh yeah, I did mention I'll do my best, Captain. It's been a while, and I'm not exactly comfortable in the reef. Sorry.
Well, let's try and keep it a little bit better from memory there. Go ahead, make another survival check for me.
I will look at the two dwarves, Stradmil and Thadmil, and I'll say, you know what that means, boys. Let's go check the integrity.
You guys, all three of you, make your way down underneath deck. It doesn't appear as if anything has broke the hull.
I'll make another one. Focusing more. Okay, that's better. That's a 22.
Very nice. So you begin to maneuver your way through the large jagged rocks and through the reef, kind of directing the route for Ezra, kind of in and out, swaying back and forth and following the swift currents that are kind of jutting out from the island. This is almost pushing the boat back at times, but with the wind in your sails, you guys eventually, at a slow, sluggish pace, begin to make your way through these tall, jagged rocks and this massive reef. It takes you guys probably about 20 minutes before you start to round the side of the reef. And as you come around the corner of the reef, you can see the massive jagged rocks just a few miles off in the distance of the large, towering mountains of Jotunheim. The captain sighs. Well, we made it. As you guys start to drift through the calm waters on the excess of the outer reaches of Jotunheim here, he kind of looks on in admiration, looks over at you and pats you on the back. As you guys all look on, he kind of yells out, "Everybody, up on the deck! You need to see this, it's beautiful!"
DM, as we're kind of arriving in, I would prefer, if I could, to climb the crow's nest and try to get a general lay of the land.
Sure, go up there, make a perception check.
What was that? What do I add? 22.
Very nice. Looking across the island, you can see the lush green trees blanketing the mountainsides that kind of trickle down almost like a wave of green falling off the mountains into the valleys below. The smell of salt in the air quickly begins to fade as you can smell the familiar smells of a tranquil forest as they begins to fill the air. The sounds of birds chirping in the air from off in the distance, and above you, you can see a flock of albatross kind of fluttering around, going after fish in the seas below. And just across the shore, you can see the mouth of a massive river that kind of opens and falls into much smaller rivers that lead into the shore. What appears to be some sort of wetland with these large ostrich-like creatures kind of grazing throughout the small wetland areas here. And as you're taking in this beauty, this beautiful wonder, and in the moments later, you realize it's gotten quiet. And for all of you, it's an ominous silence. And it's at that point that you hear it. A large roar from off in the distance. As you quickly turn to the reaches of the island, you can see the large mountain in the center of the massive range that is encircled by the island. It's flattened at the top, much like a volcano. It's in this distance that you can see this massive black figure stand atop the mountain. As it descends the forest below, as it descends towards the forest below, you can start to make out just how massive this creature is. It has to be at least 600 feet in length. From the way it stands against the mountain, it looks enormous. Moments before it would smash straight into the ground, you see its massive black wings extend from its snake-like body, roughly 14 feet in wingspan. 1,400 feet in the wingspan, sorry. As the wings
Little bit
extend,
of
you
a
hear the low rumble of the wind as a shockwave almost knocks all of you off your feet. You can hear the sounds of the creaking and the cracking as the trees below begin to break from the sheer force of the beat of the wings. As it draws closer, you can see the massive scaled form of a black dragon barreling down towards you. But this is no normal dragon. This massive body far exceeds anything any of you have ever been told or read about. As it approaches, the sounds of the wind grow to a low hurricane. Shadows begin to fall from its wings, darkening the skies above. And as it draws closer, you can see between each of its crevice and every scale along its neck begin to glow a bright, vibrant purple. Its eyes glowing with such a piercing ferocity that all of you feel almost frozen in place before the Captain Breger yells out, "Everybody abandon ship!"
Yeah, I'm
Moments
oh
before
my-
you all hear him, or after
Holy
you hear him yell
fuck.
this out, you hear Nagarathu whisper underneath her breath, "The rumors are true." As she looks on in horror, stunned in fear. And the dragon lets out yet another roar as a massive purple beam extends from its mouth just a half mile from you guys as the waves part and almost revealing nothing but the stony ground of the sea beneath. You can see the animals and the birds begin to fly and scream in all different manners. What are you guys doing?
I'm diving off the boat.
Diving off the
Driving off the fucking
I'm following
boat!
the one that says he can swim.
I'm swimming in the ocean now.
Each of you dive off the boat in various directions, followed by your various crewmates. Although as you look back almost over your shoulder, you, Kidai, and Samira, you notice that Nagarathu is just frozen in fear as you guys are all diving. She stands there watching as the beam of this giant purple ray is completely demolishing everything in its path. For the instant, it just hits the boat, and it explodes into a massive purple... what's the word I'm looking for? Like an implosion, as the boat is almost sucked into the center of the beam. I need all of you to make dexterity saving throws, please.
I can't see this, can't I?
You can see this.
24.
Natural 1 for a 5.
Oof.
Also
12.
5, but like a really big 5.
14.
14.
12.
Like a more masculine 5, you mean?
So, Kothar and Kidai, as you both dive off the boat, various bits of debris come flying at you, and at that instant, each of you are smacked with something so large or pieces of shards of the boat. You are left unconscious floating in the water as your friends turn back. You can see the Captain Breger quickly turns around. He grabs after you, Kidai, and begins to start helping drag you to shore, but you can tell he's struggling with the massive waves of these different manners of all the debris of the boats laying around. You can see Ezra quickly turn around as she dives underwater and grabs Fane and begins to help him drag towards shore. As you guys look around, you can see Stradmule and Thadmule are nowhere to be found.
My friends.
You said Fane is unconscious?
Fane is unconscious. You're being dragged towards shore by Ezra.
My love.
I will quickly take... I know that you just said they're not visible. I will take a look around for Stradmule and Thadmule.
Make a perception check for me.
Am I conscious, DM? 'Cause
You
you
are-
said my name at one point.
Oh, you are conscious. Did I? Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
It was
15.
Kidai and Fane. 15?
15. Yeah.
Looking around, you can see nothing, assuming that they are still underwater.
I am going to swim over and help get Fane and Kidai aboard shore. Or on shore.
Easy enough. With that, with your help, dragging them towards shore, you eventually get there. Between Ezra and the captain, you quickly awaken both Kidai and Fane, kind of pressing into their chest and helping the water get out of their lungs. You guys awaken, almost gasping for air.
Fuck. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck was that?
I do not know.
As you guys all look back, you can see and almost grasp, as you're standing on the shore, the size of this beast. A 14-foot wingspan, nearly 650 feet long, and nearly 400 feet tall. A massive black dragon kind of blankets the sky, blackening everything around. It quickly flies back, circling the island, looking for you. Seems as if it's kind of lost you in the debris, as it makes its way back to its perch on top of the massive island, on top of the volcano in the center of this massive island, and then dissipates as you assume descends into the mountain.
Does this Does this trigger a particular memory in Fane of that local legend?
Make a history check for me.
Samesies, Matt.
Make a history
Um,
check.
I feel
That
like Zamira
is-
would definitely know about this dragon.
You as well
That's
could
a-
make a history check.
That's a 13.
Doesn't trigger anything at first glance. Nothing kind of puts two and two together for you.
Big 9.
Unfortunately, you don't know enough about dragons through your study. You've heard of them. You know that this is definitely an abnormal size for a dragon, but
I got the answer to my question, so that's fine.
Would my dragon knowledge give me advantage on
it
this?
lowers your DC, but it doesn't give you advantage.
I got a 16.
A 16. There's not much you do know about this dragon, but you do remember stuff of lore, stuff of ancient legend, tale of the oldest dragon, one that was the king of dragons, the one who birthed most dragons into this world, known as Zeltroy the Black.
Mm. Not one for titles, just straight up the black. Got it.
It's
Oh.
titular and an adjective.
I think I've read about this dragon in my studies. I think I read about a very old dragon who was the first dragon. His name was Zeltroy.
Zeltroy. This is Zeltroy?
Looking
That we
across the
might
shore as you
expect,
guys are
yeah.
having your conversation, Thadmule is pulling his brother onto shore with what appears to be a large splintering piece of wood completely pierced through his stomach.
I will rush
I will
over
run.
to them.
So will I.
Easy enough.
And-
You guys rush over.
Mm-hmm.
And then, God, because you named him. Was Stradmule pulling Thadmule ashore, or was Thadmule pulling Stradmule?
The twin brothers, Stradmule is the one that is pulling Thadmule onto the shore.
I just quickly take a look over Thadmule. Is he alive?
He's alive, but barely. He seems to be breathing. As he breathes, he almost coughs up blood. You can see he's unconscious and hardly responding.
I am immediately going to rip the piece of wood out of him as I press my hand on him, and I will cast Cure Wounds.
Make a sleight of hand check to see if you can get that off before he bleeds out.
Oh, I was.
Jeez. If I just killed this man.
If you'd like to, one of you guys could provide assistance to him. Maybe try to put some pressure on there.
I would, and I'd like to use my healer feat as well.
I
if
was also
possible.
going to use Cure Wounds.
Easy enough.
Okay, with advantage, if that's what I got.
Yes.
Sleight of hand would be an unnatural 20.
Easy enough. Between Kothar and Kidai, quickly she pours in a little bit of healing magic around the wound as you begin to rip it out, and Kodar is putting pressure onto the wound. It seems as if he's been kind of trained in the medical arts a little bit. Seems like he knows what he's doing. And as you pour it out, you push your hand down on the wound just above Kidai's and pour that last bit of your healing touch into him. You guys have saved his
7 points
life. Kind of.
Do I need to roll anything,
Thank-
DM?
No, you do not.
May not have a ship
Fame-
to be a shipwright for anymore, but that doesn't mean you can stop being here.
Fane is going to get slightly panicked, and he's going to go jump into the water and look for the crate that he bought in Port Midpar.
Okay, go ahead and make a investigation check for me.
That is a 18.
You find shattered crate, but floating bottles.
Wonderful. I will gather them. Do I see any of my nets or my short sword?
You can find them throughout the rubble.
Good to know.
Is it everyone accounted for?
Looking around, everybody is accounted for, except for
The lady got
Nagaratu.
roasted. Yeah, the
Up
person
here.
who hired him.
Appears as if she did not make it to shore.
I want to dive in the water and go look for her because, side note, I don't need to breathe.
Yes, I know.
Well, because-
Okay, how long would you like to look for her?
Till I find her.
20
While
minutes
she's
goes
doing
by.
that, I will
30
direct
minutes
everybody
goes
to
by.
duck out of the tree line.
Doesn't seem like she's anywhere. No matter how deep down you dive, no matter how far out you swim and look. Can't find her body.
I'll come up on shore and just wipe my hair out of my face. I looked everywhere.
As Thad Mule starts to breathe
I
again,
can't
I'm
find
just.
her.
Oh, sorry. I'm
Oh,
just like knelt over his body, watching him breathe and like staring at my hands in shock.
Kind of almost shakenly awakens. Are we alive? Is this heaven?
It's not heaven.
No.
Kind of reaches down, clenching at his chest. What the hell was that?
Not sure, but you managed to catch quite the piece of wood.
It did always know how to find the right piece to the ship.
I'd also say probably DM, my hood didn't make it through that mess.
Probably not.
Okay, so what you see now is very long, probably matted from the water, dark brown hair, and two little small antlers kind of peeking out the top of my head.
Thane is just sort of sitting in like a pile with a bottle of rum, kind of like sitting on his butt with his head forward, kind of resting on his hands, and the bottle is just sort of holding there with like blood falling down his face, I presume, just sort of like a little in shock.
Say, Burger, I don't think the person who hired us managed to get ashore.
As
I
you
don't
look
think
over, you can see
Zamira
Breger
wasn't able
has
to find-
fallen onto the shore, and Ezra's standing over him, and she's trying to shake him awake. As you make your way over, you can see that the left half of his overcoat has been singed and burned away. Massive scars of burn marks blanket the left half of his body.
Is he alive?
He's alive, but he's not awake.
Another cure wounds, then.
Me too.
Oh. Jesus, just burned through every spell slot.
Hey, man, I ain't never been out here with a blown up ship before.
That is ruthlessly efficient.
These are
Kofak.
people's lives, bro.
Between the two of
8.21.
you, you are able to bring him back conscious, but he kind of looks up. You can tell that your healing was not enough to cure the scars. As the scars begin to kind of peel over, he rips off the overcoat. Well, I won't be needing this anymore, as he throws it to the side.
Then I will say what I said to him.
Yeah. Repeat
I'm
what
gonna
you said for
turn
me.
to Kothar. Oh, he can go.
Sorry.
I just said basically we have a problem. The person who hired us is not on shore and did not make it.
When I turned back, she was frozen in fear, and I tried to grab her, but it was grab her and die with her, or go overboard, and, well, I was at least able to save one of my crew.
What the fuck do we do? We're on an island with no boat, no reason for being here whatsoever,
No food.
no food. What the fuck do we do?
We do what we must to survive.
At the very least, I can hunt probably for us.
It's a relief,
Uh,
but it's cold comfort.
I
What
agree.
the fuck do we do?
Well, I don't recommend we go where that thing went.
It's. Did you see it? It's as big as the whole island.
Yeah.
Where could we hide from such a thing?
I don't know.
We have.
Given the time, maybe Stradmil with Admiral and I can. I don't even think we'll have the capabilities of building a boat.
Could we find a cave or something to bring supplies to, or stay in for a while until we can build a ship or a raft? I don't.
I mean, I can certainly take a look around at the surrounding environment. I got a pretty good look from the crow's nest. Do I have any idea where an advantageous, naturally created shelter might reasonably, possibly be found?
You did see that there were recesses along the shore at the bases of the mountain. You get the sense that if you headed that direction, there'd probably be caves.
I agree with you. At the very least, we should find shelter. I did manage to spy some from the crow's nest. maybe we can find somewhere to rest for a while and figure out whatever our next steps are.
How far away? Oh, sorry. How far away?
It's going to be a bit of a trip at the very least.
Okay. So we need to take what we can.
Agreed. Is stuff currently still washing ashore? from the
There
boat? Maybe
is
that's floating?
pockets of debris all along the shoreline from up to almost a mile out where you guys were.
At the very least, we might as well collect what's washed ashore. If you see anything of, oh god, Nosferatu?
Nagarathu.
Nagarathus? Especially any writings or notes to determine why we might be here in the first place, that could be helpful. I'm going to start looking through the debris.
DM, can I
So-
ask, does it look like we're the only ship that's wrecked here recently?
Recently, it does look like you were the only ship that's wrecked here. You would know just from talk amongst the crew and the captain telling you a little bit more about the surrounding area as you guys made your way here, that the surrounding reef and jagged rocks are known as Sailor's Graveyard. So you get the sense there are probably many ships that have broken asunder against these rocks.
I'll keep an eye out for anything from other ships that we can use too.
Fane is going to find a strip of sail or any sort of large piece of cloth and form sort of like tie it up, try and package as much shit into that
Fanny
and then
pack.
wrap it up like a sledge, I guess, a pack you would carry behind a sledge and sort of
The-
but
Sledgy pack.
bigger, like a big, large, I don't know how to describe it. Something you'd carry behind a sledge.
The
Like a
big bandana on a stick that the homeless guys have.
Yes, but 15 feet long, out of the sails.
All right.
A fanny pack, but one that matches his muscles.
And that lays on
Santa's
the
sack.
It's a it's a thick boy pack.
Oh lord.
A
All
fanny
right.
pack.
This
Fanny
will
pack.
be a for everyone that is assisting, a group skill check to go out and see what you can find throughout the wreckage. So describe to me what you're looking for and what you're doing and how you're doing it.
I'm looking
Fane-
for reference materials, text.
Okay. As you're swimming through the water, make a perception check. Thane, go ahead and make an investigation check for me to go ahead and try and find and bring in those all that stuff you were just looking for, the sails and everything.
Basically, I'm looking for a big piece of sail to set us up to carry all the shit wherever it needs to go.
Yeah.
That is going to be a 12.
A12. Easy enough. You can see large chunks of the sail. Maybe not quite 15 feet long, but roughly 10 foot long. You could easily pull it to shore.
Okay. I'll pull it to shore and I will sort of set it out and put some stones on the side of it so it doesn't blow away. It's probably soaking wet, but just in case, so that when the time comes, we can stow everything on it
Got
and
it.
drag it.
Zamira, what was that perception
I
check?
got an 8.
An 8. Looking throughout the wreckage, you can't really... you don't see much of anything that looks like books or writings of the sort. But you do come across a few bedrolls and other various things if you'd like to grab them and bring them to shore.
Mm-hmm. How many to be exact?
3.
I would just like to look at some of the now, I guess, growing piles that are along the shore of just debris. I'm kind of walking the shoreline, poking through them. If there's boxes or chests that survived intact, per se, I will open them.
Okay.
Or break them open, if I must.
Make a perception check to see what you can find along the shore.
Yeah. Oh. Natural 20, 24.
Oh, got
Ooh.
to start this campaign off right. You do find a chest that has almost inlaid accents of silver across it, and a massive iron padlock across the front. As you pick it up and pull it onto shore, the captain looks over. Well, that was Nagarathu's. It was supposed to be our payment. Seeing as she's not here, tosses you a key.
I will open it.
You open
I
it
don't
up.
think it's going to do us much good here, Captain.
It is 5,000 gold pieces. as well as a large black book on top.
Fane's eyes get huge.
I will grab the book.
You open the book, or you look at the book, and you can see across the front, it reads, "The wings that shrouded the night."
They're that big, yeah.
They're only 14 feet.
1400.
Yeah, but you keep saying 14.
Yeah,
You
I
said
know.
14 more than 1400, so I'm going with 14 in my mind.
Yeah.
He's 600 feet long with 14-foot wings. You can't even see
They
him.
flap really fast, guys. They're like a hummingbird.
As you
Fane kind of
look,
looks at it.
as you
Sorry.
go ahead, as you pull open the first page of the book, you can see it reads, "Pain, agony. My shadows burn through the cavernous deeps of my island. The world heaves with my torment. Its wretched kingdoms quake beneath my rage. But at last, all Tilstaria will break, and all will burn beneath the shadows of my wings." And at the bottom it is signed, Zeltroy.
As they're reading, Fane kind of walks up to the chest and, like, realizing how useless it is to finally see this much gold, but not to be stuck on an island, he'll kick it and just scream.
I'm imagining that dragon holding a pen.
Powerful dragons can transform, okay?
He's trying to write this little book.
He holds it in his 14-foot wings.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The bane of my existence.
It's one letter per page. It's just very, very long book.
He didn't say how
Dragons
big the
can
book.
write good too.
Leave him alone. He's a sensitive boy.
Oh, I hate all of you.
You just had a dragon write a book, dude. What else was I supposed to think of?
But might as well. No.
Do you think this is why she was breaking us here?
I thought she said they were rumors.
She had a book about written by this dragon. She knew exactly why we were coming here.
I'm not sure why she thought we were a match for it.
Maybe she didn't.
I don't think this changes our plan.
What plan? To survive on an island? Wait for another boat to come crashing? We can pay them with this useless treasure we have?
What is it that you want to do, Fane? Sit here on the shore and die?
No, but what can we do?
Survival is the only task we have before us right now.
For the moment, make sure that we'll live. Then we can reassess what to do next, but sitting here in the tree line is not going to help.
Zamira, I know you kind of flew a little bit off the ground earlier. Are you able to do that to kind of see our way a little better?
Not currently.
Do me a favor, Kothar.
Yeah.
Will you cut the straps on my wings? And I will look.
I can do that. I'll take up my hand axe and I'll cut down the leather.
I swore that I would never take advantage of my ability, but it seems such a foolish promise to make, and to keep when you're stranded on an island. And I'll fly up. I'll just sort of kick off and take off kind of shakily at first, and fly up 100, 200 feet, and get a vantage and see what I can see on the island.
Sure. Make a perception check for me. Pretty low DC.
Ooh. Doesn't matter because I got not only a 1, not only a natural 1, but a true... Oh no, it's a 2, I'm sorry.
You
Nice.
fly up into the sky, and in that instant, it's almost
That's-
a sense of PTSD. And you see flashes of that dragon flying, barreling down towards your ship again. and you quickly fly back to the ground before you could even see much of the island.
I didn't see anything. I'm sorry.
All right, I think we know our way, at least generally. So
I'm assuming I don't find anything else in my pilfering of the shore, DM.
I mean, you find various things, bits of intact pieces of the ship. One of the ballistas seemed to pull ashore, but it is massive. Various different things. You can see pots and pans and other various knickknacks from the kitchen and various different rooms have been kind of pushed up to shore by this point.
I will gather up the pots and pans and anything else that might be useful for our survival.
Okay.
Any food?
I was going to say, as you earlier, for what we were checking for, I would be looking for food and anything to keep us alive.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was gonna look for, but I was gonna swim out since I'm pretty quick.
Okay, so you're swimming out, and Kidai, are you looking throughout the...
I'll stay on land.
Okay, I was gonna say, are you looking through kind of like the local areas of the forest, or just looking for what's washed up?
Just watch both, if I can.
Sure, make a nature check for me, and make an investigation check for me, Kothar.
I'm sorry, Matt.
Another natural 20?
No.
Yeah, but I have a 0 modifier, so.
It's still a
Oh,
natural
no.
20.
True.
I got a 14.
14. Between the two of you, you find, while waterlogged, roughly about 5 days worth of rations that you could gather up and bring to shore. But while you are also looking, Kidai, you do find a bit of wild mushrooms and various things through just on the banks of the forest here.
Okay.
Probably
like
probably about enough for a day's worth of food for one person.
Okay.
So that's like 6 days total for one person.
Yes.
So less
Now-
than 1 day's food for all of us.
How many people do we have here?
You have the 5 of you, Stradmule and Thadmule, Ezra, and the captain.
9 people.
Could I maybe look for a spear, since my quarterstaff wouldn't have a sharpened end, or a stick that I could form into a spear and maybe try to do some fishing?
Sure, go ahead and take another perception check, kind of look around.
14.
You don't find a spear, but you do find a hunting knife.
Can I, like, tie it to
Um,
my quarterstaff?
Zamira,
This is not how I
Use-
thought things were gonna go.
use one of my nets. And I'll hand her one.
Okay, I'll take his net. Thank you.
If I see her heading off
You're welcome.
fishing, I'll hand her one of my javelins as well. If you're trying to, spear him, this might work a little better for you.
Easy enough.
Fane will just, on his sort of cursory glance, look for food with the rest of them, but any more alcohol or leisure things, knickknacks or card sets or dice or anything.
The important things.
Yeah.
You don't really find much as you're looking around, but as you do, you see Breger who's kind of been sifting through things that have swum up shore, reaches down and pulls something up, and you can see, I'm so glad this made it. Holds up that purple bottle with the gold leaves all over it. My wine. Don't want to go anywhere without my wine.
I can't believe you lost a person, but not your bottle of wine. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter now. We have the wine, but not Nagaratu.
In my many years at sea, I have never once lost someone to the sea. May
I'm not so
Uditir guide
convinced.
her to a watery grave.
Perhaps she is not lost.
She seemed to know more about the situation than she let on. Well, clearly, but regardless. And I'll pull out my bottle of rum, and I'll uncork it, and I'll cheers up with Bragger and say, to being lost at sea.
Well, I heard all you talking, but I don't think we're necessarily lost. I don't know if there's any boats on this island, but I do know there's a couple of villages of people that are, well, they're detached from the world, and perhaps they know a way back to the mainland. Once we venture a little, gather our bearings, maybe have a day's rest, we can venture farther inland and see what we can't find.
Wait. There's people?
Savages, but yeah, people.
Not so
I
bad.
think savage is a relative term.
There's no reason to refer to people with derogative terms.
I agree.
But there are people here that we can speak with?
Well, as far as I know, I assume they know the common tongue.
That's fortunate then. Still,
Let's
for
see.
being stranded on a fucking island. And I take a drink.
Well, it is a first for me as well. And he downs what is left of his bottle of wine.
Let's see if we can find somewhere to quietly observe them first before interacting with them.
Kothar and Zamira, are you still making your way off to go fishing?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll just kind of stand on the edge and stare out over the reef.
Okay. Zamira, are you still
Yeah.
going fishing? Yeah?
Yeah.
Make a survival check for me. Let's see what you can pull in.
Ooh, 21.
21. Very nice. You are able to pull in a pretty hefty haul. Kothar, you can see her, while she does look very strong, she's almost struggling at the amount of fish she's trying to pull in.
I'll go help.
Easy enough. You guys pull in a hefty bounty of fish. Probably enough to feed everybody for a couple days.
Is there like a weight I should write down or an amount? A ration number?
Just call it 2 days worth of fish for 9 people.
Okay.
When everybody is all back together, I will lead the initiative to try to guide them to where we might find
And you will do that
natural cover.
after our break.
Oh,
Oh,
I
Mac, that
would've-
was so good.
I would have handed him back his spear and brought Thane back his net and thanked both of them.
Okay.
giant black dragon.
I like
Very-
your
very quick-
manners.
Very quickly, Matt, because I don't want to do it when we get back, because
What's
I
up?
imagine we're going to start trekking. Just before we gather back up, can I stand on the edge of the reef and just toss 4 gold into the ocean for the dead, and just say, "It's never thought I'd come back to the victorious dead, Captain," and I'll turn around and I'll walk back.
Easy enough.
Well,
With that, guys, we're going to take our break. Stick around. We will see what happens as we come back and they begin to travel and explore the Isles of Yildenheim.
giant black dragon. What the fuck?
I gotta cook with mushrooms.
Oh.
Shit my pants.
I went fishing. And my headset's about to die.
I see Liz mute her mic, and then I just hear her start yelling in the house. Beautiful.
making googly eyes at each other.
Hey, you're not supposed to talk during the break.
It's my campaign. I do what I want. Alrighty, guys, and welcome back. Whew. I had to take a bit of a breather after that.
What are we doing? What's going on?
Uh-oh. I think Matt's muted.
Oh,
Whoop.
ho, ho.
I'm back now.
Kinky.
Stream could hear me. You
Hello.
guys couldn't.
Is
Oh,
that
good.
a pupper?
Oh, puppy cam.
Babies.
That's it. Campaign canceled.
It's Seltroy the Black Dwead.
So, guys, welcome back. That I was saying I needed a breather after that entrance.
I'm like, I had to go change my underwear.
You guys ready to jump back into it?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, start
Time
us
to
off.
become primitive.
Start us off there, Kare. Make that survival check for me to see what you could find.
Yeah. Yeehaw. Oh, ho, ho, ho. I don't know what my ad here is. 21.
21. You begin to lead the broken and disparate crew here throughout the southern shores of the Isles of Yildenheim. You begin making your way along the edges of the forest here, not venturing in just yet, as I assumed you told me you were looking for a cave, right?
Yeah. Based on the vision that I got from the crow's nest, just anywhere that was potentially likely for natural cover of some form.
You begin to make your way towards the base of the nearby mountains, kind of along where the beach meets the forest here. As you begin to turn around and crest your way a little bit further into the forest here, you can watch as it kind of slopes down and makes its way a little deeper into what appears to be a small recess, just on the banks of the shores, where the mountain and the beach and the forest all kind of culminate into one area, where you see a small cave in the side of a mountain.
I will assess the cave's entrance to see if it seems traveled or not.
Looking it over, appears as if it would be abandoned. There's not much about it. You don't see any tracks leading to or fro. You don't see any form of sentient life that looks like it would inhabit this cave.
Tentatively making my way to it, with the party in tow. Making my way.
How far in are you guys venturing?
Well,
I'm going to assume until the light stops.
I can't see in the dark, so I will make my way until it becomes dark.
So
Making my way.
It is a large cavernous entrance where the banks here are along the edges of the shore that kind of still, or the edges of the ocean that still kind of wash up inside of this massive cave. It's roughly about a 50-foot area with about 30 feet of water till it hits the other side of the cave. As you guys wake your way maybe 30, 40 feet in, the light from the edges of the cave begin to dissipate, getting a little bit darker.
Is it? I look around and I say, "Can anybody else here see in the dark?"
Well,
keep
the
up
rest
your
of
hands
the
up,
rest of the
Fran.
crew that are not player characters all chime in.
We have one person who can see in the dark in this group.
Oh man.
That's a first.
Well, everybody grab a buddy, I guess, and I'll grab hands with Kothar.
Oh, thanks. I'll
It's a
pull out
strong-
torch.
It's a strong grip.
I'll grab Kedai's hand.
Thank you.
Stay close.
Kind of got like one hand each, strap mule and thad mule.
I was gonna say you can have
Link arms.
Samuel.
And
The captain looks around. This looks like as good a place as any to set up camp. At least it's not too far from where the wreckage was if we need to go back and look for anything, and it's right here
So-
on the banks of the forest where we can search for game and perhaps even do a little bit of fishing in the cave here, a little out of sight.
So the cave does go deeper.
The cave does go
Correct.
deeper.
Oh, that's bad. That's very, very bad. Is there... While you set up camp, well, which one of you can see in the dark the best?
Ezra kind of peeps in a little bit. I have
Ezra.
perfect vision in the dark.
I would love it, my love, if you would accompany me on a jaunt down to see what's a little farther into this cave.
it's a cave date.
Does exploring a cave sound more important than getting camp set up and making sure the rest of us are all good to go for the next few days?
Yes, it does, and only because there are enough hands to set up the camp. But if we set up a camp and a monster comes out to eat us, or perhaps a black dragon comes to eat us from inside the cave, I think that would be a swifter end than other things.
She sighs for a short moment. If you insist, we will
I
look.
don't insist. I asked.
We will look 100 feet in and see what we find. If there's nothing, we return to camp.
You may, I suppose, but I'd like to explore. Just a touch.
So you and Ezra go ahead and make your way in. Go ahead and make a. Are you just physically looking, or are you actually like?
I mean, I'm not gonna dig in nooks and crannies, but I pretty much want to go until I would probably, 100 feet, that's like 20 seconds of walking, right?
Roughly.
I want to walk like 10 to 15 minutes down.
Sure.
And see, if I can. I don't really want to go alone, but yeah, screw it. I'll just go.
I did say
I can go
you're
with
holding
him.
hands with him, and I did light a torch. I have enough to
Oh, you
pass
do have
out
a
if
torch.
everyone wants one.
It's a little waterlogged and takes you a bit to get it lit, but you do eventually get it lit.
I missed that. If that's the case, I would happily invite Kothar along as well.
Okay. The three of you begin to venture deeper into the cave. Each of you make those perception checks for me.
It's an 8.
Was that me going as well?
If you're going with them.
Okay.
Also an 8.
I'll let go of her hand and wave.
I'll come back.
Both you got an 8, you
16.
said? 16. Okay.
They always say they'll come back before they don't.
You guys begin to make your way deeper into the cave, and as you make your way in, it begins to almost widen into a larger open area. Looking about, it doesn't appear as if there's more than a cave down here, but the farther you go in, the deeper the cavern seems to lead. Almost as if it spirals downward.
Is there anywhere that is particularly thin or, I suppose, like blockable? before we get to that larger cavern?
Yeah, the hallway that kind of you guys led you down here got a little narrow and then widened into this massive opening, roughly maybe 15 feet.
Oh, that's not that narrow.
I mean, it's the narrowest you found.
Sure. Uh, I don't know, but this doesn't seem like the most defensible cave.
Well,
Yeah,
We
I
can
don't think
keep
we're gonna make
moving.
it too far.
I just mean that we are quite exposed from both sides.
Mm.
I mean, if you two are up for it, we could probably grab the others besides the ones that are setting up camp and, try to clear it out. I'm not exactly sure what, if anything, lives down here, but I'm not too keen about waking up in the middle of the night to set of jewels around my throat.
I would
Like-
rather stay up near the shoreline than be in here at nighttime.
That's my concern as well, is that, well, fuck. I mean, we have to make, it's a Sophie's choice. What can you do? We have to pick one, but I'm not sure which is worse.
If I had to take a bet, I'd like to be in the cave, just based off the fact that, I don't know about you guys, but if I had a fire at night and I was a 1,600 foot long dragon, I'd like to check that out. And I think the cave offers us just a little bit of like aerial protection.
I think I agree.
My only
But-
concern is that we can't see very well in here, and we must resort to fire, which means that we light up a beacon for where we are.
I suppose, as Kothar said, the choice is the devil you know or the devil you don't know, but right now the devil we know is a dragon so big that I don't think it would even notice if it stepped on us.
Yeah, I'm not sure it really exerted a whole lot of effort to kind of destroy our entire world in that ship. So I don't know about you two, but I'll take my chances with the fire in the cave.
I agree.
Who am I to
Uh,
argue with the majority?
Regardless, it is still a concern, and I think we should take steps to shore up the weakness we have if possible. If we can find a way to block the back of the cave, or if we simply have to clear this cavern out. Sure, but
Ezra just kind of looks at the three of you. If you wish to go spelunking, while the rest of us try to gather and come to terms with what has just happened, by all means. But I'll be staying to keep watch over my captain.
as you will.
Yeah, I don't think he's in much of a shape to go anywhere anyway.
She begins to turn and walk her way back towards where the captain is setting up camp.
Go back with me.
DM, if I'm correct, it's myself, Akare, and the captain.
And
it's still back?
Stradmule and Thadmule.
Oh, right. Okay.
DM, I would reason to guess that at my time in the Honore, I'm very proficient in setting up a camp.
Yes, you are.
So I will help direct setting up the camp. And you see Akare kind of almost like he's done this a lot, setting up these temporary camps out of whatever can be carried. I will start to organize in short order everything except for the food, which I will leave to Kidai. But I will help sort out the camp in a very logical and easy to access what we need when we need it manner.
Easy enough.
I'll start to do the same thing with the food, almost kind of like rationing it out per meal per day. And I'll turn to Akare. Shortly. I know we've been through a lot, but do you think they'll be hungry when they get back?
I'm not sure. My metabolism is fairly well slowed, so
Could say the opposite.
I don't think I'm a good gauge for whether or not they're hungry.
Neither am I.
I would venture to guess maybe you can keep something on hand in case someone is, but I wouldn't go out full preparing something.
I think that
We gotta feed these
Snackables.
muscles, yo.
I
We
know.
literally have people with like metabolisms that require 4,000 calories a day. Like 3 of them.
Oh, you have no
I-
idea.
I do worry about the venture into the cave, but I also worry about these natives on the island.
Do you know much of them?
About what time is it by the time we've arrived?
You guys spent probably about an hour making your way down the beach till you came across this cave. So,
It's about like what, 2 p.m.?
yeah, about we'll call it roughly 3 in the afternoon, from what you can tell.
No, I'm afraid I don't know anything about them, but I know very well possibly their nature. I came from a tribe, much like them, isolationist, not versed in the world. So I am very curious to observe them and see before we interact their intentions and their general manners, because not all isolationist tribes are friendly.
Well, we have that in common. Although I did come from quite a friendly place, I can't imagine what lies beyond my home. It's all new to me.
As it is for me, and no, I can't imagine either. Well, I'm gonna continue sorting out what little weapons we have here.
If I can be of any assistance, please let me know.
Absolutely.
As you guys are kind of setting up camp, you can see, at least you catch it, well, both of you would. Stradman and Thaddeus kind of arguing over something off in the corner, and they kind of pipe up and they look over. We're going back for the ballista. And they just start running out the front of the cave.
Boy, I hope they make it all right.
Do they need accompaniment?
Well, although they are dwarves, I don't think I could catch them. If they're that eager.
Or if they're a naturally good sprinter?
I love that.
I do want to, real quick, while setting up camp and all this business, because I imagine their venture doesn't take them too long. I just want to kind of look outside the cave and get a lay of, like, game paths, game trails, any nearby sources of water, if I can suss that out.
So there's almost like a 20-foot section of shore that kind of bends and turns into this cave here, almost where the end of the beach ends at this cave. And so as you look out, the open waters of the ocean are there in front of you, kind of sectioned off from the open water of the ocean and almost the lagoon here that is on the shores of the Jotunheim Isles that are kind of sectioned off by the massive underwater coral reef and jagged rocks that surround the island. Just behind you, kind of up against the edges of the shore, you can see a very dense, lush, like jungle. Doesn't look like there's any paths at first glance, kind of looking it over, of game, but you could hear the sounds of various different creatures running throughout and birds kind of chirping. You can hear them almost singing their songs, almost as if that sense of calm that you first got whenever you first glimpsed at the island has set back in.
Okay, I will make my way back inside, and I imagine this is probably about the time the rest of them return.
Thane would have been taking some swigs of the bottle as we walked back.
Enough?
Kothar, would you care to?
Well, sure. If you're offering, I will.
It
Couple.
Seems impolite not to share, considering the circumstance.
To the end of the world.
Or something like it. Cheers.
Cheers. When we get back, I will share the thoughts we had with the rest of our crew and see what they think. So, dragon or cave? I think those are our options.
I would say neither. I think if anyone's going to know anything about, especially existing in the area where this dragon exists, it would be the natives. but I worry about interacting with them before knowing what their response might be. Could be hostile.
In the short term, though, I mean, natives are not a concern if we don't live through the night.
Well, definitely cave, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Being out on the shoreline doubles us both to being seen in that manner and possibly by the natives before we've judged their intentions. I think we've created a decent camp here, and whatever lies within the cave, I'm kind of with Ezra on it. I'm not sure. I would prefer to explore the cave, given our capabilities, but whatever dwells within, if it comes and attacks us, I think it's better than Dragon Boy.
It has to be smaller, at least.
Quite.
We could
You
set
guys-
guards.
Kidai, you're being awfully quiet.
I don't have much to say in the way of action or survival, to be honest. I'm very scared. I'm leaving it up to professionals, and I'll
Right.
handle dinner.
With my modicum of like just a little bit of knowledge that I would have on Zeltroy, would I know anything about his views of hunting? I mean, is this the most dangerous game to him, or is he just ruthless and down for the kill?
There's not much written knowledge on Zeltroy, just rumors. There's it's hard to tell. It's hard to discern from what you've been told.
Okay.
I will kneel down next to Kidai, and I'll just sort of like a pat on the back, and say, Kidai, you seem an innocent sort. Have you ever had rum before?
Quite a few times. Very happy night.
Well, then you know exactly what it does. Take some. It's good for the fear.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I'll
I'll take
sit
a
down.
couple big swigs, like surprisingly big swigs.
I would say that by now, Thane took care of probably half of the bottle by himself and then passed around the rest, and it's probably getting close to the end of that one.
Probably.
And then I'll kneel down and I'll fillet fish or whatever small task I can assist with.
If he's cooking meat, I want to pay attention and try to watch what he's doing.
I have to say, I know some rudimentary things, but I had cooks who would cook for me. I'm not the most experienced at this sort of thing.
Well, at least you know more than I do about preparing meats.
I could certainly help with that if you want
I
to
would,
learn.
I would love any tips, especially if that's what you're all used to sustaining yourself on, and I may not partake myself, but yeah, I could use some pointers.
Yeah.
I'll take these as well.
I will
Okay.
just, to keep it short and sweet, because I'm proficient at this sort of thing, I will, having learned what I learned, I'll show them how best to fillet a fish and kind of use the thinness of the knife to waste as little meat as possible when you're filleting, both against the bone and the scales.
Every once in a while, as you do, I kind of twitch.
And kind of show them that if you don't necessarily want to remove the scales and you want to cook on the scales first, that would be an option, and then you remove the scales after cooking, yada yada, so on and so forth. Fish prep.
Fish prep.
And though we don't have anything in the way of seasonings, I would describe what kind of steps you would take if you had such provision.
As the sort of this class is happening, I'll kind of look at Kidai's horns, and I'll say, "Are you a Hellborn as well?"
I'm not sure what that means. What are you referring to?
Like me, and I point to the demon spawn.
Oh, and my hand kind of rushes up to my head.
You don't look like
No.
any I've seen before, but
No, I must not be. I'm just a regular person. These are a fairly new addition that I'm dealing with, and I'll kind of pull part of my hair forward, and you see kind of like caked blood around where they're growing out. Looks like a pretty fresh wound.
Those are new.
Very
That's
unfortunate.
well, not unfortunate. If you really try, you can work them. Hopefully, they grow in neat spirals. Some people are not so lucky.
So I've heard.
I know a man who has one horn that curls and one horn that goes straight out. It's not a good look.
I met a woman not too long ago with beautiful curling horns such as yours. She said that mine look a little bit different, but I'm just hoping that it doesn't hurt too bad when they really start coming in.
Well, it's pierced the skin, so perhaps the worst is over.
I hope so.
But still, very strange, very peculiar.
It is to me as well.
Huh. Maybe soon you will have eyes like mine, and you see like his like lava glowing eyes.
Oh my goodness.
And I should mention I have an eye patch on one eye, and I just sort of switch it to the other side, just sort of to be humorous.
Is that not for practical use? Is it for fashion?
Very little about my appearance is for practical use, except for, well, some things. But no,
Interesting.
it's an aesthetic choice.
Interesting.
So which one is the dominant one?
Well, I'm not sure what you're asking, but I usually prefer to take charge if that's what you mean.
No, not like that. I meant your eyes. Which one is dominant?
Oh, well, it's sort of, I suppose, my right eye at this point. But when I'm at home, I don't wear it.
If you're not too vain, feel free to either remove it or keep it over your left eye if you could. It's important.
It seems a useless thing now, and I take it off and I throw it. Just sort of chuck it and take a swig.
So regarding what we can do and what little time we have before the sun sets, I was thinking of trying to ascend the mountain just enough to see if we can see where these natives might be. Would anyone care to join me?
I can come with you.
I'm trying not to be seen and get a better lay of the land, but I could always use a helping hand.
I
If
can
I
be of
wouldn't be,
assistance with them.
if I wouldn't be a hindrance, I would love to see.
Anyone is welcome. You're muted.
Thane will stick around and just sort of sit by the fire and finish off that bottle.
Okay.
I'll stick at camp and I'll try to just grab some like foliage and brush and kind of hide what I can of our camp and make it blend in a little more.
Sure. So you're just kind of grabbing broken limbs and broken trees along the outskirts of the forest here, essentially.
Yeah, I just want to. I imagine I have a little bit of experience in like trying to hide things
Sure.
in like
Bivouacking.
beachy terrain. Yeah.
Make a nature check for me. Just
Ooh, real good at those. 10.
10. You find a decent amount. Begin to build almost like a small wall of like looks like shrubberies almost just along the sides of the mountain here, just almost blocking off your path a little bit more. Hex, you have a inspiration from Virus in chat of a D8 that you can use when you would like. The other three of you that are ascending the mountain, I need you to make those stealth checks for me.
Okay. For the record, DM, I was not trying to split the party and then take 10 years. I just want to simply do what I said.
You're fine.
Unless somebody else wants to chime in with something they want to do.
Split the party.
19 on the stealth.
Do I need to roll stealth as well?
If you're going with them, yes.
Natural 20 on my stealth check for a total of
Nice.
25.
Oh, nasty. You had 5? Nice.
16.
Very nice, guys, for a low-level party.
Sneaky, sneaky.
You guys
Sneak crew.
very stealthily and quietly start to climb up a small pathway up into the mountain. The higher you climb, the steeper the mountain gets, and you begin to get to maybe about 150 feet above, almost kind of looking over, and you can see the almost bowl-like shape of the valley here. You can see what appears to be a massive jungle that reaches out and stops abruptly as it meets a massive river. The river looking to be maybe 200, 300. It's hard to judge from this distance wide. A massive river that kind of cuts down and winds and twists all the way up into the large mountain ranges. And you can look to see as if this river almost leads directly towards that volcano-like mountain, almost splitting down the center of the island here. On the opposite sides, you can see what appear to be rolling hills. And off in the distance, it's hard to make out from here, from how far away you are now. It's miles away. But you can see the outskirts of what appear to be wooden walls, trees of a sort that look to be the outskirts of some sort of village or city. It's hard to tell from this distance.
Okay, so we see the walls, but can I get a general idea of the size of this place? Like, are we talking like village size, or are we talking city size? Or
More
I guess
village.
what I should say is,
More
are we
village
talking
size.
more what I'm familiar to, or are we talking like town size?
More what you're familiar to, but still maybe a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Just slightly.
Interesting. I wasn't. I'll be honest. From her description, I wasn't expecting a wall.
Does the wall look like defensible? Not. I mean, does it look like they have guns or? I mean, well, not guns.
From
Arrows
this
or anything like that.
From this
An
distance, it
Abrams
just
tank.
looks like a bunch of tree trunks that have been kind of shaved down and laid up against each other. A massive wooden wall that kind of encompasses this camp.
Well, I think this tells us a number of things. Perhaps they're certainly not hiding. Maybe this dragon only doesn't like boats coming or potentially leaving.
Perhaps this wall means they don't want any visitors.
It could be, or it could just be to keep out denizens of the night, if we haven't yet assessed how dangerous the predators can be.
Speaking of,
the wall
DM,
also
can I
might-
keep an eye out for creatures as we go?
Yeah, make a perception
Seeing what
check
I
for
can
me.
see.
The wall might also suggest that I agree that it does spell that they might be confrontational, but sometimes a wall is used to do diplomacy first.
19.
This
What?
this might be an odd question. Do I smell what they're eating? Like, does it smell like human flesh? Is essentially what I'm asking.
I would like to know that as well.
Okay, I'll use your
Let's see.
perception check that you just rolled. Roll another perception check for me, Zamira.
Specifically human flesh.
25.
Can't smell anything from this distance, but as you're both looking around, you do see a varying number of creatures running throughout the forest below from kind of your vantage point up here. You can see these Black Panther-like creatures maybe sleeping in the trees. Appears as if they're a little more nocturnal. You can see large birds flying above and various different elk and deer, even a bear every once in a while, kind of venturing throughout this massive forest and jungle. And then as you kind of like are tracing down the edges of the island, looking across from where you are, you can see a plume of smoke coming from the opposite side of the shore, just miles down the opposite side of the island.
This is separate from the camp.
Separate from the camp. The camp is more inland towards the plains. The plume of smoke is coming more from the shore. Maybe 25, 30 miles away from where you guys had your shipwreck.
I don't see this because I wasn't looking.
I would point it out if I saw. Just kind of quietly motion.
Huh. Somebody like us, perhaps.
It seems too far to go without the rest of our group.
I agree, but I do venture to wonder if maybe that's Nagarathu.
That's a big if, though.
I agree, a big if. What do you two think? What should we do? I mean,
I think we should go back to the group. and
I
relay to them
don't
what
think we
we've
should
seen
go
here.
alone.
I certainly agree. Yes. I meant in general. Approach the natives, perhaps, or investigate that smoke.
I think the smoke first. Potentially it could be an ally.
It could
Well.
also be emergent.
Could also be a
Well,
beacon for our devs if Dragon Boy
So-
decides he doesn't like fire, but
so could the villages.
Just to give you a bit of a bearing better on where you can see that plume of smoke coming from, that mouth of the river where you saw that kind of split into multiple smaller rivers, almost like a small river delta there at the beginning, is roughly maybe another 10 miles down the shore from where you saw that, just on the other side of that river.
I agree with you. I think it's worth exploring. But let's get the rest of the group and make a decision together.
We should perhaps rest before we go.
I think that sounds like
If they stay in one spot, we won't lose them. If they move, we'll have to find them again. But I agree, we should rest. Especially if I'm to be saving Thadmuel's life again.
We are not the ones who get to dictate who lives and who dies.
I only try to save what I can. There's no need for senseless loss.
I agree.
I will begin to descend and go back to the cave.
Easy enough. You guys make your way back to the cave.
as
for
we
those
walk
you-
back, DM, can I ask, do I see any like berries hanging off of trees or bushes? Any?
Make a nature check for me.
13.
You see varying different trees that appear to have small amounts of fruit growing on them, and a bit of wild berries that kind of pocketed throughout the forest floor as you were just kind of looking down over it. Hard to tell from this distance if any of them are edible.
Okay. That's all.
You guys go back to the cave, and for those of you that stayed in the cave, you would have watched as Stradmuel and Thadmuel got back carrying a massive ballista. And as they do, they begin going to town on what they love to do best, and that's building. As they mount this massive ballista at the about 5 foot into the entrance of the cave, and you just kind of see them sitting there, and they're arguing amongst each other again on who gets to use it first. And you see him look over. Well, Captain, if that damn bastard comes at us, we'll have him this time.
Hey, Stradmule and Tarmule, you know, if the dragon is there, I don't think we can do much. Maybe point it at the back of the cave.
Just kind of swings it, pointing it right at you. Back at the cave, you say.
I like sort of like look at it like right here, and I'm like, that's perfect, just like that.
Oh, if you think he's gonna come at us from behind, I'm gonna get him.
I think you will, absolutely. Was there any gunpowder salvaged?
Not that you guys could find that was... say you could probably have one barrel, but very waterlogged.
Waterlogged barrel of powder.
Useful in 3 to 5 business days.
Yeah, just put some rice in it, dude. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I hear that
Rice
if you light it on fire, it dries out quicker.
Curious. If
I'll
I
keep that in
were,
mind.
since the air kind of rotates around me, if I were to sit on the barrel, would it dry faster?
No.
Oh,
In 1 to 2 business days.
but it'd be cool.
It's like
Expedited shipping.
yeah, so that's just
It's inside of
She's
a
like-
barrel still. It's not like your
She's
air
like-
makes its way into the barrel.
She's just like a
but there's,
human
like,
hair
holes in
dryer.
barrels.
Gunpowder prime.
Yeah.
It was worth asking.
It's a good question.
We could just scatter it out on the floor. What could go wrong?
An
We all
errant
take
torch.
turns blowing on.
Oh God.
I will set the barrel of powder, I don't know, 100 feet back in the cave.
I thought you were gonna say on fire. I really did.
No.
Okay.
My
So you
beautiful
said it
game.
about 100 feet back in the cave, kind of near that point where the cave begins to narrow.
Yeah, just so that it's out of range of like exploding us all if the torch flickers in the wrong direction,
Sure.
or that whatever monkeys are going to come get us from inside the cave can find it and use it against us.
Fly, my pretties.
So I'll engage in like idle small talk with Kothar and Captain Brager, just nothing meaningful, but just passing the time, talking about like a woman or a beautiful place or something silly like that.
Yeah. About an hour goes by, and your three compatriots have made their way back to the camp.
Yeah, and me and the ladies and I will share all of our gathered information.
And at the end of it, I'll say, "Are you hungry?"
Yes.
Always.
Famished.
Starving.
I will
So-
get to work trying my best to prepare fish the way that he showed me, and like a little chopped mushroom sort of situation, fish and veggies.
Okay.
Fish and chips.
So the options are a small village that is how far away?
How far away, DM?
It's hard to judge from your vantage point. It looked. You've traveled across many lands and hunted across many miles. It's pretty far away.
It's beyond the evening. I
So-
assume.
It's
We even make headway that way.
It's at least
And
a day and a half to 2 days travel.
Gotcha.
And so the village was very far away, like on the horizon.
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
very hard to see, nothing but the wall.
Yeah, we're playing with theater of mind, but I described that it would be a trek.
No, actually, I insist that you construct the entire island so we can get a visual perspective.
Don't worry, I'll have it done before
Draw it
next
out in the
session.
sand.
Yeah.
And so the other option is a plume of smoke in the distance.
It was, and I do recall this one, DM, even though I don't have keen mind, it was about 20 miles away, was it not?
It was 20 miles past where you guys wrecked the ship.
Oh, shiza. Yeah,
So
so,
it's
so it's an hour
still a
plus
day's-
20 miles.
Still a day's journey.
Yeah, so it's like an
Still-
hour plus 20 miles, whatever that is.
Still probably about half a day to a day's journey away.
Okay, so nothing today. is
Oh
what
my
we
god,
did.
we can cover 20 plus miles in a day? Holy shit.
No, I just
That's fair, sorry.
it's
With
Me
me
and
guiding
I.
you through the woods, quite potentially.
I'm a
I
fast
hate
boy.
that I did
Oh god.
Okay, we're done. Let's move on.
Well, what are your opinions on this? You seem to know much about this sort of place. I have to say, I have no idea.
Are you asking me?
No, it was a rhetorical question. Yes, I'm asking you. What do you think?
I apologize. I didn't have a hard time reading sarcasm. Well, I don't
It
know.
wasn't sarcasm. It was a question.
Everything you say sounds sarcastic.
It's the damn charm. I suppose.
My experience is based around where I come from, my tribe, and I'm relating an outside world that I do not know to that expectation. So what I do know is very little. What I can guess at is quite a lot. That
Well,
village
what do you
is
guess?
that village is not hiding from this entity that seems to ruin anything that comes to this island with the intention of keeping it here. And whatever that plume of smoke is indicates some form of intelligence, some person, potentially group, much smaller, maybe having arrived before us or after us, if that's even possible in the world of chances.
So the choices are a village of people that we think are in league with this dragon or a random fire in the distance?
It's possible they pay tribute to it and it leaves them alone.
Does
Whatever
that make
they're,
them evil necessarily?
I don't know. That I've never seen a creature like that before, but it's obvious that if it can destroy our ship like that and seize anything it wants within its area, those people have found some way to coexist. I don't know if that changes their nature or not.
I vote the village.
If I may, I would also like to remind everyone that we have two members of our party who are probably not feeling especially keen right now, and 9 is also a large kind of group to go trekking through this forest up to a village and kind of just say, hey, we're peaceful, trust us, there's 9 of us, but we mean you no harm. And we still have the cave to worry about, especially if we're going to stay longer than a day, and kind of I imagine we're going to need some kind of like more permanent, not permanent, I don't want to stay here forever, but at least a temporary residence to set up while we're here that we can reliably know is safe.
Maybe the village is that place. And if it's not, we can kill them and take it if they're not friendly.
We did
I have a
also
lot of-
discuss the possibility, though, that the plume of smoke could come from Nagarathu, potentially.
If Nagarathu is at that plume of smoke, I think we should go there and ring her up for keeping secret.
Well, how would she have made it so far?
By lying, I suppose.
Fane, I have to be honest, and I think that your violent solutions to our violent situation is not a good idea.
Do you want to go talk the dragon into a peaceful
I can never
resolution to
condone
this?
violence.
No, I
We-
don't particularly want to interact with the dragon, but we are on an island of unknowns. Start
May I-
making enemies, there's not too many places to hide.
May I ask you a question?
You're going to ask it anyway, I assume.
I'll be respectful. If you don't want me to ask the question, I won't.
I've tried to be straightforward in assessing our situation. Respect has nothing to do with it.
Have you ever feared for your life?
Of course. I think everybody
you-
has.
Sure. And when you feared for your life, was it a human man or an animal or a creature of some kind that held you hostage?
My very existence was held hostage by a giant serpent with 4 arms and 7 eyes.
Jack
Destroyed,
Well-
kind of gets up and walks away
every-
from the conversation.
destroyed everything I know.
Well, did you
I
ask
would
its
say a
permission? After that, did you ask its permission? Or did you do what you had to do?
I'm doing what I had to do.
And I hope you will continue to do so. Violence included, if necessary.
If necessary.
Then we're on the same page. But if you are afraid that these village people are allied in some way with this dragon, then if you choose not to do something about it, then what does that do for us? How does that benefit us?
I think your assumption is that they're allied rather than found some way to coexist.
But you've got incongruent thoughts. We're going to avoid the village because they could be allied with the dragon, but why not? If we think they could be friendly, we will go and we'll make friends. But if they're not going to be friendly and they're not our friends, then we deal with it.
My original suggestion was to observe them first, see what kind of people they are. I'm working on
That's-
assumptions relating to what little I know.
Hmm.
I think that's a.
I'm stressing caution.
I agree.
I think
But-
observing first is a decent compromise. I know nothing of worlds like this. I know nothing of anywhere outside my home, but I do know that my home is a peaceful village, and we didn't have walls.
I didn't have walls either.
It's what the man who carries a sword is always ready to kill someone, and someone with walls is clearly familiar with conflict. That's a good point. I just ask that if it comes to it, and violence is called for, well, I'd like to leave this island. The decisions you make are yours, but I hope that they don't cost me my chance to leave.
If it's by my own power, I won't be staying here.
I'm glad.
Whatever that takes. Because I have other places that I was intending to be before the ship got destroyed.
I'm not sure if any of us really had the idea that we would end up stranded on an island. I think we would all like to be elsewhere.
And knowledge is our ally. So the more we know about these tribes, these villages, before we make any rash decisions, the better off we are. To get off the island, to survive in the first place, to leave here with what we need to.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I had a reason to be on this island. I was coming here.
So was I.
Excuse me. Aside from the fact that we were working here?
The reason I was working on the ship was to come to this island, among other things, but this island was one of my destinations that I knew about, yes.
What were you coming for?
I was sent for family business.
And what
I
about
don't
you,
know what I
Kida?
was I don't know what I was to encounter here. I know that I was looking for something, but I don't know where it is or what's here. I know nothing of this island, but I do know that I was supposed to come here.
And you,
I
Kida?
have reason to believe
think-
that at least one of these villages you speak of, which again I know nothing about so far, may be the cure. And I'll kind of point to the antler for a path that was chosen for me without my will.
I'm sorry if I offended with my choice of words.
Not at all. Not at all.
I was told that there was a tribe of tieflings on this island, and I mean no offense. But I was told that there would be a tribe here of tieflings. Now, whether or not they're hostile, I do not know. And if they can help me in what I'm searching for, I don't know. But I was told that there was a tribe of tieflings on this island.
I take no offense.
I think
Hmm.
Kidai is right. Knowledge is power. And it seems like we have some things to accomplish. Kothar, you're being awfully quiet, my friend.
I've since it seems like we're having a little bit of an honesty hour, I guess I'll be up front with you guys. I've been to this island once before, of my own accord. I didn't make it quite as far in as I have now, and I definitely don't remember the ginormous dragon swooping down. But I do have a little bit experience, at least with the reef portion of the island, which in no small turn allowed us to get here. So, but no, in terms of the village, I think I agree. I think we need to know a little bit more about them before we kind of engage. But I am concerned about having kind of a base camp to set up with in our four friends who may or may not be quite as adventurous as the five of us. I'd like somewhere to at least know where they're. I want to know that they're safe.
If the people in the village are friendly, then maybe that is where they could stay.
Perhaps, but until we
just
know
think-
that,
Is this any
Go ahead.
worse than another place? Do we think we could find perhaps an ivory tower or a fine hotel somewhere on the island?
I mean, if you find a tavern, let me know. I'll be the first to run it.
Well, listen, I've got a few bottles left.
That was good rum.
It's actually quite expensive. I think in retrospect, I would have bought more bottles of the cheaper stuff, but I went for the best.
That
Only
would
the
have been
best.
more floating.
Indeed.
Well, I agree with everything here. I think it doesn't change the fact that we can't get to either of these locations today. So in terms of what we can do now, are we interested in resting and exploring this cave to secure it for our friends? As that, I agree with Gothar. I think that be our top priority. Let's not lose anyone because we're too hasty.
I agree. I don't like the cave behind us.
I agree.
And if we stay here, we need to keep a watch.
It's the only thing we can act on at the moment. I can keep watch over the group.
At the mention of not liking the cave behind you, you see Thadmule kind of lean in. He reaches into his pouch on his side, pulls out a stick of dynamite. Would you like me to blow it up?
Actually, that's not a bad idea.
Because between this, well, the powder's a little waterlogged, but I think we could bring it down.
Have we ventured in there yet? Like very far?
You ventured
A
in
little bit.
15, 20 minutes in.
And you
Okay,
can't
I
go
wasn't sure how far we went back
big
in there.
chamber,
behind
was it? That kept
It
going.
opened up into a large chamber where you guys were up on kind of like a top shelf looking downward, and it looked as if the inside of the cave spiraled inward.
The
Take it
only
now.
concern I have is that such a thing would create a noise like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, wherever that goes, what you describe, I'm sure they would be aware.
I think Thadmule, that's let's save that as kind of a last resort, either in or out.
I've only got 3
But-
left, and he pulls out 2
but-
more boomsticks, basically 2 more pieces of dynamite. You tell me when you want them.
This
Don't,
ship's
uh,
about to blow up, and he grabbed 3 dynamite sticks and jumped off. What a
This
dwarf!
place is about to blow.
Don't,
What a dwarf.
Thadmule, if you don't mind, don't light those anywhere near the rest of us while we're in this cave, please.
I'll do my best.
Well, they're kind of discussing what to do with the entrance of the cave. I want to try something. I want to sit down near like kind of a quiet area and think really, really, really hard about the berries that I saw in the forest, and kind of my eyes go black and dark, and you hear like this very deep like murmuring coming from my mouth, and 10 berries appear in my hands. I cast Good Berry, and when I'm done, I will hand them out and say, these aren't really dessert. I would keep them with you. They're good for another day. They'll sustain you for the next day if we can't find anything, and give you a little bit of oomph.
Okay.
And hand one
Thank
out to everybody, because I believe we have 9, right?
You do have 9.
Okay, yeah. Hand one out to everybody. Keep the
While the berries go around, I say, well, since it's honesty hour, and everyone seems to have something to do with this island except me, Akari, why are you here?
I joined with Breger to get to somewhere Originally, I thought it was a person, but it's a place. It's called Tygarth, and this is not where it is. This was a stop to fulfill an obligation, and then I'm going there. So I
So-
don't have any reason for being here, other than having been a part of what we were all doing.
Okay.
But that doesn't change the fact that we're all in this situation, and I need to be at Tygarth. So I will do anything that is required to get off this island. So whatever it is that you need on this island, count me in. And if it brings us closer to leaving, count me in.
As far as I'm concerned, I want to leave, and I want to take that chest of coin with us.
Couldn't care about the money.
Well, then I'll take your share. I need it.
Fine with me. Don't even know what it does anyway.
Coin?
We
Well,
don't have money where I come from.
you'll learn, I suppose, if you plan to be a Tygarth.
If this world revolves around it, I'll find a way to make it.
It's like bartering, but with an extra step.
She has a point.
Trading, bartering. Just a
Sounds
middleman.
complicated. So what we can do, the only thing we can realistically achieve while protecting our friends, is explore this cave, or seal it. But I feel like that would be a beacon.
Or just wait and rest and hope that nothing comes up. Anything that we find down below is going to be the same thing that comes to see us here. And at least here we're on home turf.
Give me 1 second, guys. Sounds like Maddie woke up. I'm gonna check on her real quick.
Here you go.
Yeah,
free
we're
to
just,
keep
we're just
arguing
talking
between
about logic here.
yourselves.
Yep. The only thing that I'll add is yes, I do agree. I don't think resting here will preclude anything we're going to achieve here. I think we do take the time to rest, but our decisions, the plume of smoke, if they're not established in one place like the village, they could be gone, and that would be a moment lost. But we may yet see them again.
I'm still in favor of the village. The longer it takes us to find a proper shelter, the longer we're exposed. And it's like adopting an orphan when you can feed your own children.
Are you speaking, when you speak of going to the village, and if you'll allow observation first, are you speaking of with the four or without the four? Because I don't want to leave them here mostly defenseless.
With the four. If it's as far as you say, we need to take them with us.
That I can agree on. Unless
But-
anyone has any objections, I think that's how we should tackle that.
I would need assurances that we wouldn't resort to violence unless absolutely necessary. I won't be the one to initiate hostility towards them.
I was not planning on it. They
Well-
were here before us, and they deserve to remain.
Do they though? It's like you walk. Well, you don't know what a street is, but if you walk down a street and you see a man murder someone, you say he was here first. He deserves to be here. That's a very blasé attitude.
I don't think we've witnessed them murder anyone, though.
But if they are murderers, we seem to be operating on the assumption that they could be very bad people, but we seem to be pretending like they're not at the same time. I just want to point out that we are in a island with a massive black dragon, and we have no idea of their intentions, and I don't want to assume they're bad people, but we want to be guarded against this potentially as well.
Hence the observation.
Right. Back there.
I think we take all precautions. We steady ourselves on the off chance that we may potentially need to resort to violence, but we leave that as our last resort, and we just go in there with good faith and open arms. And I hope after today for a little bit of goodwill, but we know how that goes.
I mean, I haven't seen any skeletons. This village could very well be made up of everybody who's been shipwrecked here. And I don't see a reason why they would turn us down if that was the case.
We can speculate all day long, but in the end, we won't know until we get there. It seems like we have our plan, and Zamir will just get up and walk off and go meditate.
I'm afraid, Mule Brothers, you'll have to leave your Bastilla behind.
They kind of look over at you. The captain kind of leans over as he's just kind of been listening into your guys' conversation while drunkenly trying to stay awake. He kind of grips at his burnt side and looks over at Stradmule, where you can see the incision or the small wound through his leather armor where the piece of wood had pierced him. Lads, I don't think the lot of us are fit for travel, not for at least a few days. If you'd like, between Stradmule, Thadmule, and myself, we can keep camp here. I know how to fish. I'm a man of the sea. I can fend for us. If you were to leave me a javelin or a spear of kinds, I could fend for us for enough food for while you're gone. If you need a guide, or I don't know if she'd be much use, but I offer Ezra's assistance if she would like to join you. She kind of looks over at the five of you. You all seem like capable individuals, but if you needed a more capable guide, a sixth member, I will accompany you. Otherwise, I would feel more comfortable staying here guarding my captain.
Can you offer us any information that we don't have ourselves?
The only information that I have that was shared to me through Nagaratu during short glimpses of conversation we had in our travels is that there is indeed a tribe of savages on this island. I didn't want to interrupt the rest of you, but Nagaratu describe them as savages. So, when you're making your assumptions and you're trying to gather your information, do be careful.
Well, I suppose that answers one question.
I don't know how much.
Nagaratho also failed to mention that there was a dragon, so I'm not sure how apt I am to believe anything she said.
I do agree with you. She did not mention that this island was populated by a dragon of such magnitude, or that even such a thing existed. I can't even comprehend it. I still feel as if it wasn't real. Even in the land where I hail from, such things don't exist. But what I do know is that moments before the dragon's breath wiped out our ship, is that she mentioned the rumors were true under her breath. Perhaps she didn't even know that it was here.
She knew rumors, but she didn't feel the need to share them with us.
And she had the book.
Aye, she did. She had a book, but books are not always truths.
But she had enough reason to venture, I guess.
My guess is that the dragon is why she came to this island. In
I was
search
afraid
of
as much.
the truth, but it's hard to guess at the ambitions of the dead.
We didn't find a corpse.
Well, if we didn't find a corpse, then I would reason to assume that the sea claimed her.
Or the dragon.
I've only been at sea for a month or two at most, but I've seen a few bodies along the way, and every single one of them floats. Not a single one gets dragged underwater.
Well, when you spend enough time on the water, you learn that currents have a funny way of dragging you deeper.
But eventually we all float. It's just curious, that's all.
And we definitely saw her and the dragon at the same time.
I mean, you saw her standing there as the dragon's breath, like that beam of purple energy came flying towards you guys, almost cutting everything in its path in half. But you weren't paying attention to her as you dove into the water.
Sus.
Well, I know it's not late yet, but I'm exhausted and drunk. Going to go to sleep. I'll go take the 3 bottles I have, and I will go. I'll try and find like the closest approximation of a soft spot, like maybe some dirt on the ground, and I'll coil up my nets and my whips, like in a pile, and I will lay my head down on it and try and get some rest.
Everyone else going to sleep?
I will, real quick, just say, Ezra, if we're venturing into the cave, I think you remain here and keep watch over our friends who are not, all of them, in the best of shape.
Is the goal to venture into the cave? I thought you were venturing into the island.
Oh, have I misread the whole situation then?
No, I think we do. We explore the cave at least for buy ourselves one some time and two some peace of mind while our compatriots get their legs back under them.
Oh,
You
we're
know.
doing that. We're doing that now.
No,
not now.
In the
not
morning.
now.
Not now.
In the
No,
morning.
after a
Gotcha.
rest.
Yeah, but
They're gonna need time to recover, but we, in that time, either we get ambushed here or we go see what's down there.
Sure.
That situation, like them recovering, is not gonna change. So let's make ourselves useful.
Okay.
Is what I thought the consensus of the conversation was.
That is perfectly fine with me. I will stay here. I will keep guard on camp. I'm sure Stradmy and Thad will have fun with their toy if anything does try to come in from the front entrance. And let's say, should we need your help, we'll throw a stick of dynamite down the hall.
Because I don't want to take up too much time, DM, I know that we're going into the cave, so I will try to hunt whatever I can before the sun sets, and then bring it back and try to prep it before
In the forest or in
we
the
all
cave?
in the forest, so that we can all settle down. I'll just find an elk, find a deer, find a something. I ain't going for bears right now.
Make a survival check.
Yep. 18.
18. You're scouring through this lush, dense jungle where you come across an elk. From a distance, it looks like a normal size, but the closer you get, the larger it looks, standing roughly 7 foot tall on its hind legs.
Well, not that one. I'm moving on.
He wants a
Yeah.
baby elk.
You move on,
Nope.
continue looking throughout the forest here, and you do come across a small set of deer, 2 fawns.
Okay. I will just knock an arrow and try to strike one fatally.
Rolled hit.
Oh god, this is the first time I use my bow and I think it's a deer. What the hell's going on? 16.
16. You pierce it right in its neck. Falls
Full
over.
8 plus 4, so 12.
12. Falls over. The
I'll
other
just
one takes
pick it
off
up.
running.
I will just pick it up and take it back to the cave, and outside the cave entrance in a kind of recess of trees, I'll do some prep.
Sure.
And
You'll
basically
hang
bring
the
back the meat.
You'll hang the deer in the tree and make a slit with your knife to start draining the blood and begin dressing the deer.
Okay. Way too graphic, but sure. And then I just eventually bring back the meat using just dry aging, essentially.
Easy enough.
So that's what I do for the day, and then we settle down for the full rest. Just trying to make sure our companions can eat while we're gone.
Before everybody heads off to bed, I'd like to walk up to Kothar. Kothar, is it?
yeah,
You said you've been here before.
not on the island. No,
Do you know much of it?
not much. I know it used to be kind of a haven for some pirates back in the day, but I'm not entirely sure what had happened to them.
Are the villagers what became of the pirate?
Not sure. I guess we'll find out, won't we?
I guess we will. Well, I'll go to bed.
So the rest of you find your spots to lay down for rest. The two dwarven men and Ezra take the bedrolls while everyone else kind of makes their own area for sleep. Is anybody staying up for keeping watch?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my training to stay livid for 6 hours while I rest, as I listen around for anything in this cave.
Sure.
I'll join him on first watch. A horrible thought has just crossed Kothar's mind, and he is not going to be able to sleep for a hot second.
Easy enough. Each of you make perception checks for me, and take this time to do any extra RP that you should wish.
Well,
18.
Looking around, you kind of stumbly walk around the cavern, making your way, looking for any signs of anything that might be of a threat. You don't find anything. You can hear the wildlife just off in the reaches of the jungle have begun to start their hunts for the evening. You can hear the cracking of branches and the rustling of bushes as some sorts of large beasts dart in and out of the jungles, hunting whatever manner of beast they can find. You can hear the fluttering of the nocturnal animals, the owls hooting in the distance, and various other things. But your watch comes to a close, an easy night.
For your record, Kothar, the majority of that time after we settle down, I just have my eyes closed. I'm just listening.
sir.
Fane will wake up for the second watch, but as I do, I'll say, I can try to help. I'll admit I don't really know what I'm looking for.
I guess just keep your eyes open for things that go bump in the night.
Easy enough, I suppose.
That's the spirit of it.
Make a perception check for me.
15.
15. Much like your lizard folk compatriot, you begin to wander around the cavern and kind of peering down a little deeper from that upward ledge, kind of just looking down what might live beneath, what you might find as you venture deeper and begin looking around the outsides of the cavern. Watch comes to a close, doesn't really make nothing goes bump in the night, no sounds, nothing that catches your attention.
Your watches are 2 hours. Yes, DM?
They are roughly about 3, like 2.5 basically.
Okay. During which Akari has not moved. Still eyes closed, sitting up. His gear at his side.
Samira can wake up for third watch. She would wake up early to work out anyways.
Okay. Go ahead and make your perception check for me.
24.
Jesus Christ.
Did you want me rolling new perceptions for this, or are we going with my 18?
I was just keeping with your 18, if that's okay.
Fine by me.
The night has begun to come to a close. The animals of the night have begun to settle down and rest. The sounds of the forest begin to lull and come to a quiet night. As you peer out the front of the cavern, you can see the stars and the pocketing clouds of the sky above. Doesn't seem like much has happened this night. And as the sun begins to crest behind the mountains, you can see the rays of yellow and gold begin to kind of come down over the mountains and blanket across the valley as the morning comes.
Fane wakes up and like as the sun is rising, goes out like 20 or 30 feet out onto the shore and sort of runs through his routine, so to speak, like his exercise, if you will. Just drills and light exercises to just warm up the muscles for the day, I suppose. Springier than he ought to be for as much alcohol as he drank, but
I'm gonna be meditating.
As you guys all begin to stir, Zamira, you would have noticed this as you were awake during it. You would have noticed that Ezra woke much earlier than everyone else, maybe towards about halfway through your watch, a few hours or about an hour or so before everyone else, and began prepping what appears to be a fish breakfast for everybody. Well, would everybody like to sit down and have their meal before they go off exploring?
I'd appreciate it.
Well, it's not much, but it'll sustain you at least for a few hours today.
Thane comes in, just lightly sweaty at this point, glistening, if you will,
Oh my lord.
and sits down for some fish.
I get a feeling we're going to
Zamira
be eating a
will
lot of
come in
this. Should
after
find new
everyone
ways to
else.
prepare it. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's fine. I was just saying that I would have come in, I don't know, 20 minutes after everybody else when I was done meditating.
Captain kind of stirs, awaking from his drunken sleep, pretty much as you guys are finishing eating. He's just like, oh, my head is killing me. So what's the plan today?
We're heading to explore the caves where you recover.
Well, me and the Dwarven brothers will keep watch then, and I suppose, Ezra, are you staying with us? She kind of looks at all of you to look for an answer.
Yes, I think so.
Well, Captain, it sounds like I will be staying here by your side, as I have for many years now.
I think these are for you four then, and I'll chuck them 2 of my javelins, and I'll hand the Mule Brothers one of my hand axes.
Well, the two brothers would look back at you and look down at their side where they both have hand axes, and they'll hand you yours back.
I will slowly take it back.
Ezra grabs the javelin. Well, thank you. I much prefer a pike, but this shall do.
It is very kind of you to put yourself at a disadvantage for the help of others.
Are you talking about my giving away the weapons?
Yes.
I think whatever we run into, if I have to resort to those 2 javelins, we're gonna be in a lot worse shape than you think.
It's a fair point.
Into the cave then.
Into the cave.
Into the cave.
I will light a torch and I'll pass 1 to someone else if they would like it.
I will take it.
Since we're all
know-
blind as fucking bats.
Well, since I don't need to see with the torches, I can move ahead and keep an eye, a forward eye.
I think that might be a halfway decent plan.
The other half is not so good.
Not if something kind of springs on you. It's going to take us a second to get to you, but I mean, you look like you can handle yourself for, a little bit. At a
For
minimum.
at least a little bit, I think.
At a minimum. Depends on what. I mean, if that dragon jumps out, I don't think it doesn't matter how close we are.
If the dragon jumps out, torches and scouting don't really matter at all, I don't think. But I will journey ahead. I will go, say, 100 feet ahead, and move quietly and keep a quiet eye out.
Make a stealth check for me.
That's pretty bad. It's a 10.
10. Okay. The rest of you that are following roughly 100 feet back, are you continuing at a normal pace or trying to be quiet?
Sneaky,
I mean,
sneaky.
since he's sneaking, we'll match his pace, but with the torches.
Super
away.
sneaky.
Yeah.
Using our tippy hooves.
You guys pass me by, like, no, shh, I'm sneaking.
Okay, I need group stealth checks then. Stealth checks, block.
Ooh.
Natural 20 for 28.
Might
Okay,
save your
because I
party.
got a natural 1 for a 6.
Oh, those kind of kids.
It's
Wow.
sexy.
18.
I tripped and fell. I
15.
stubbed my toe.
Bane, remind me what you have?
6. Oh, sorry, 10. Roll the 6.
You guys begin to descend the spiral, almost carved walkway deeper into this cavern. Bane, roll a d8 for me.
Lucky Matt. Let me find a D8, jeez.
Illithids come flying out of nowhere.
3.
Bye.
As you continue to descend deeper and deeper into this cavern, your party not but 100 feet behind you. As you guys kind of peer over the side, well, none of you have dark vision, so you wouldn't see Thane moving below you. So, you just see the dark recesses of this cave below. Thane,
Sneaky, sneaky.
as you are trying your damnedest to be sneaky, making your way through this cavern, you can hear the fluttering of the bats and other cave creatures from the distance. But in that instant, you feel almost a slithering as something strikes you in the back. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Oh, I wanted to punch something.
Matt, I need to whack something, please!
I got something to whack.
Just like one more hour!
Oh, I know. But
You already told us you took tomorrow off of work.
Let's go.
oh man.
Wow, I wasn't
Please,
expecting to be
whack,
fucking
Matt.
stranded on an island, Matt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You owe us a double big battle map next week.
Do I?
You don't owe us anything. You're doing great, and I appreciate you.
You owe us to keep
I
that
don't
fucking
wanna
dragon away
die.
from our 2-level asses.
Hey, you guys handled it well. Nobody died.
One person died. Potentially.
Potentially.
Something.
I was talking party-wise, but
True. We can, two of us could have been dragged under the waves. That would have been a hell of a way to start. Just say goodbye to all that backstory.
You're just dead.
yeah. I had plans in order to make sure your characters didn't die on session 1.
Why not? I'd just make a wizard. I have fulfilled my obligation of not playing wizard. So
2 levels of ranger, 18 levels of wizard. That's your character build.
And at that point, like wizard, the power cap is so high that you really aren't losing out on anything by taking those 2 levels of wizard or ranger.
Oh yeah, wait a
First person to die has to make a wizard.
First person to die has to make
Yeah,
a wizard.
also
I
you
would
better
not
make sure they
die.
have dark vision because ain't nobody in this party have dark vision except for arrogant boy
Yeah.
over there.
Oh
This
man.
is like the first party ever that only has one person with dark vision.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you get to
no-
hold
no kidding.
hands. Kumbaya.
I am
you-
shaking being on the edge of battle and just like having it ripped from me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Punch something. I had punching to do. That's what my-
just because Thane is pretty doesn't mean he's arrogant.
No, just because he's,
He's very
arrogant means
well-spoken.
he's arrogant.
I wanted to end there because I don't have all your guys' minis painted and printed yet.
Oh.
And I would
shoot.
like to present you with a battle map in your minis for the first combat.
That's my fault.
It's not
Oh, it's
completely
my
your
fault,
fault. I didn't receive Aiden still today, so.
Yeah,
It's
no,
okay.
it's my fault too because I was like, I'm gonna review
Jim
my
Buffalo.
mini, and then I reviewed the mini and never bought the STL.
I mean,
instead of the map.
I haven't
Classic.
even started painting any of them yet. They're only assembled and just sitting on my painting desk just right over there.
And that's okay. I made it. I bought it. I just forgot to send.
Oh,
Don't feel
Nice.
bad. Assembling mine counts as like assembling 3, you guys.
Yeah, hers is a
Are
pain in
you
the
a
ass.
big?
Is it what you sent me? No, wait, no, that was Lissa sent me. I
No,
think.
it's the one
Yeah,
with the
that was mine.
it's the one with the titties.
She
titties.
has a shirt on.
Doesn't
I
look
don't
like
know
it.
why he
Sure
thinks
does look
that
like it.
she's topless.
If
She
we
has
would
a
like to talk
long
about
sleeve shirt on.
mini
If she wants
titties,
to be topless,
mine has borderline mommy milkers. I didn't realize it until after I bought it, and it looks really funny.
I think you mean good.
Borderline mommy milkers. I don't know what that looks like, but
Oh, you'll
That's
find
gonna be
out.
my new bumper
Personality.
sticker.
Clotho's got something to show us.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
All
guys,
right,
thanks for
Mike.
joining us tonight. That was a awesome session 1. I hope you guys enjoyed the start to this campaign as much as I think my players did. I was nervous about the start of that and introducing a dragon to level 2 players and how they'd handle it. But
Well
hey,
done.
that turned out, I think, well. We'll find out. You guys have a good
Stay
night.
on the
Thanks for
boat.
joining us. We'll see you later.
see you guys.
See you, Matt.